What's going on? What's going on? What's happening? Crypto fam, happy Wednesday. Good morning and welcome back to Love Crypto. I'm Scott. It's a pleasure to have you here, whether you're going to tune in right now live or you're tuning in the future. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to consume the content. So, what am I talking about today? Ledger last night posted US presidential election is fast approaching. Now seems to be the right time to talk about online voting. Online voting. Here's our opinion. What's yours? Oh, few peeps in. If you're coming in, I'm talking about online voting. I know not a lot of people are going to be bothered about this. I know hardly any people are going to tune into this and bounce straight out of it because it's not about the money. Sup, Johnny? Morning, mate. People in the crypto space tend to not care when it's not about the money. Shows what half of them are about, right? Now, people want to talk about helping change things, change the world. What's going on now with the riots and protests and all that? They want to change the world. They don't. Otherwise, they'd all be talking about it. Marcus, morning. It is a great topic, Johnny, and you're going to be surprised of how little views this gets compared to a normal video. If this was about the Bank of England introducing a CBDC and we're about to get moon, 200 people would probably come in. Yeah. The fact that it's about voting, not that many people are going to care, but I care. And I want to see a better world for the future of humanity. I want to see a better world for my future family, for your future family, and for everyone else. And the way we get there is not just rioting and protesting, it's forcing change. And this new technology is going to allow it. Ledger, I've spoke about this a lot, and Ledger have actually given their opinion on it now. So, on Ledger's Twitter, I've retweeted it. I'm going to go on. They're talking about perspective. For perspective, they're talking about mail-in votes this year in 2020 in America. They're talking about mailing in your votes. That's an absolute joke in 2020. And Ledger have come out and said, well, what if the 2020 US presidential elections were held online? Personally, we're not ready with the digital IDs and that hour, in my personal opinion. But by 2024, we should be more than ready. We should be ready now, but they're not getting ready for some reason. So, morning, Monty. Is it bad that crypto's less volatile than general public? I don't know, mate, but they are pretty volatile, aren't they? When I saw the blockchain technology, it's going to proper decentralize, would be more honest. It will be, Jason, especially in a voting system. Let's see what Ledger have said about voting. Just like every 4 years, the time for Americans, the time for everyone who votes, and it's not just Americans. But time for Americans to head to polls and vote in a new president. Will it really be like the other years, though? Following 3 years of Trump administration, including his tweets, that's equally bizarre. A recent public opinion survey showed a shocking result when asked what they thought was the most important problem the country is facing. Dissatisfaction, poor leadership was by far the most common response. Sure enough, this election promises to be a one-of-a-kind event. Election officials, right, so there's blah, 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 a load about fucking Trump. Fuck off. Imagine you've just woken up from a deep sleep, one big yawn, 2 stretches, a cup of coffee and both eyes now on your news feed. You're ready to start your day. Hold on, it's election day. Alex and Joe are expecting you at 11:30 on FaceTime. Presidential elections are a sharing moment. Hey Siri, have my ID and info and election registration being authorized? Affirmative. You grab your smartphone, open the official voting app and log in while calling your friends. Everything's ready. How are you? They're good too. They're going a bit far on this, Ledger. Just don't. I fucking hate it, right? When you're right and making me read something that's fucking quoted to death. Fuck off. I can't fucking read as it is. They've got a conversation between two fucking mates that's absolutely meaningless. But then the time comes to cash your vote back to the app. What the fuck was the point in a phone call? Seriously, man. Don't do that, Ledger. Who's wrote this? You fucking knobhead. Sorry about that, it's early. It's part of the day, we'll be okay. The time comes to cast your vote back to the app. Both Biden and Trump's faces are visible. You can swipe to read the outline of their program one last time. Which button did you choose? No more hesitation. 3, 2, 1. You press it. Load in. Votes cast. Alex is yelling, let's follow results online. Alex can fuck off and get off the phone. Try to read about voting, not some dickhead who's on FaceTime. But online voting is seriously, on a serious level now. Online voting, a not too distant future. Believe it or not, online voting already exists in the US via fax, email, or web portal. No, not kidding. Such a voting system looks something like that out of a movie of the late 90s and concerns at least 3 million of US overseas voters, mainly military and expats. Right, there's one. We'll go on that as well. Should expats get to vote in the country they've left? Expats. You're migrants, you fucking knob. You're a migrant. Call yourself what you are, you fucking immigrant. Fucking expat. That fucking... Who do they think they are calling themselves? Expats. It's not just the States, it's Britain's as well. So someone from India coming to Britain is a fucking immigrant. Oh, but a British person moves to India and they're just an expatriate. Get fucked with your racist, derogatory fucking terms and fuck off. We're all immigrants. Every single fucking one of us is an immigrant on someone else's fucking land, if we want to have it that way. It's the key to the future, Steve. Morning. Morning, everyone. Happy birthday for you today. Thank you very much. I did have a good birthday. We still got the cat's still not showing up. It was a bit of a dampener. It's an hangover from the Empire. It's interesting. An increasing number of states are then launching their mobile voting application using blockchain technology, such as West Virginia in 2018. Anyone from West Virginia on and know about online in-app voting since 2018? Have they been like signing people up since 2018? So this is a much more secure way to vote while preserving voter anonymity. Should I use Yahoo or Gmail, as well as ensuring transparency of the counting and tabulation process? Although these apps are reserved for voters who fall under specific legal conditions, mass adoption is only one step away. The average citizen could provide a list of pain points in their way to the polls: frustrations about wasted time from standing in the queue, voting booth, paper waste, doubt about human counting, social distancing and sanitary measures. Jesus wept. Not to mention the cost that could be spent elsewhere, let's say on education or healthcare, for instance, for lack of commitment from voters and the rise in the abstinent. That's a good point. How many people you know that don't even vote, that can't even be asked getting off the fucking app, can't be asked going and voting, and then have a big massive moan about how the country's run and the democracy they're living in? Oh, I fucking hate these politicians. Well, you don't even vote, mate, so shut up. Shut up. You haven't got an opinion if you didn't vote. Just shut your mouth. Fuck off and shut the fuck up. You didn't vote. You haven't got an opinion. Oh, but my kids go to school. Well, you should have voted then, shouldn't you? You got children and you're not voting. What kind of parent doesn't vote? What kind of parent doesn't vote? Jesus wept. My cholesterol. Alan, morning, love you, lad. I love you all. No, I'm living in Australia, originally London. Why was you voting in another country? Surely you vote the one you reside in. Exactly, Jason. I don't understand why expats. It's like all these people living abroad that seem to think they had a say on Brexit. And it's like, well, hang on a minute. Don't call yourself an expatriate living in another country and then still expect to vote in British laws, mate. Get fucked. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Do we need referendums, though? I think we might actually need votes to dictate how the votes are done. Say, like, for instance, for the XRPL consensus, it's like 80% in it. For current voting, and America's got the electoral college and all that stuff. It's going to be interesting. So I think we might have to end up voting and do a referendum and a vote to dictate exactly how this new voting system would work long term. It's compulsory to vote in Australia. What? You're getting your shit if you don't vote in Australia. I know loads of people in Britain who don't vote. And some of them are parents. It's absolutely ridiculous. The move to online voting is becoming inevitable. It's already happening and needed, if not demanded, by more and more voters. The debate is not on the if, but rather on the how. In order to build a system, it must combine security, privacy, and transparency, the three pillars of a democratic election. The question is not if, but how. Exactly. So I'm saying we're going to end up doing votes and referendums to dictate how we want this to work. Is it 51% consensus? Is it 55%? Is it 60? Is it 70? What's the current consensus within voting? 51 to 49? What's your electoral college? If it ends up 50-50 and all the bullshit that's in between it, do we need to have referendums to actually re-legislate what consensus within voting is? Because voting is not like banking or shopping. If the voting technology is vulnerable, it may have the potential to influence the outcome of a national election. It's funny when they talk like this while they've currently got us marking an X in pencil. When every single one of us walk out of that polling booth, they could just have them out, rub them all out, and put a different pencil mark on the one they actually want to win. Let's have it right. That can be rigged to death. There is no security in current voting. Absolutely no security. There's no guarantee that your vote matters. There's no guarantee that your vote went through. There's just not. It was a pencil fucking X on a piece of paper. You know how easy that can be rubbed out. You know. It's fucking wrong. Even the future of not only the country, but the entire world. We already know the consequences are. Thanks, Mark, for being sorry. The online voting system needs to ensure flawless security, complete citizens' privacy, while allowing for greater election transparency and efficiency. This is where the potential of blockchain comes into play. Simply put, blockchain technology is a huge decentralized data storage with a public ledger of transactions which allows and records any kind of transaction. Monetary, property, or ballot, ensuring complete transparency and all transactions completed on a blockchain are verified and signed with cryptography, providing security and anonymity. Such an opportunity that some have already seized. Votes, VOATZ, the voting app powered by blockchain used in West Virginia, Utah, and other states, had been created in 2015 by two hackathon winners. Follow My Vote is a public benefit corporation offering the same voting facilities as going first. So interesting. West Virginia, Utah, and some other states already have an app that's working towards it. As it has been the case with centralized financial system and cryptocurrencies, blockchain technology has once again a potential to change the rules of the two-party political system that may also be outdated. In the contents of global loss of confidence in public institutions and the political system itself, it could give power back to citizens, removing spatial, temporal, or even mobility constraints. The time will tell. But what is certain is that leveraging blockchain technology today could empower a secure, transparent, and anonymous federal online voting system, one that could strengthen the democracy and make it more resilient to unprecedented situations to come, like the one we are facing today. So, if anyone wants change, and I mean true change around the world, do you think it's going to happen with just a monetary system, just financial systems, and hey, everyone's got financial services? You think you're going to sort politics out without attacking it through consensus? We're going to dig through a bit of history now. Right, you find if you don't, Jason, that's crazy. You probably didn't bowl me, disability, maybe I'm a criminal record. So if Australia had a population of 300 million, it wouldn't be compulsory to vote. Yeah, suppose a population. How many people's in Australia? Like, you know, when you try to track millions of people voting, like, making it compulsory is pretty crazy. I don't think I'm good enough to vote. Never got a fine. Should complain. Don't believe you. No crimes in Australia. Queensland, Gold Coast. Left my wallet in the pub. Got back next day with the money in. What the fuck? That is pretty. Well, went to Canada. When I went to Canada in 2007 to my aunties and that, I used to just leave the doors open. I just got back from the pub at 2 o'clock in the morning, mate, and the door was just not open. Used to leave the doors unlocked. Like, you got back to the house at 2 in the morning, the door's unlocked. Like, what the fuck? Like, unlocked doors at 2 in the morning. 20 million people in Australia, is that it? It's like sunny Scotland, that, innit? That's like sunny Scotland. There's only 5.5 million people in Scotland. There's like 5 million in the northwest of England. Yet in the whole of Scotland. So zombie apocalypse, guys, get thinking. Zombie apocalypse. So it'll be in a country of 350 million, America. A country of over 1 billion, China. 1 billion zombies, mate. Oh, 1 billion zombies. Or 20 million Australia. Are you going up to fucking Scotland where there's only 5 million people? I'll go to 5 million zombies, mate. I'll rather fight 5 million zombies than be in China fighting 1.5 billion of the motherfuckers. Morning, Alison. I'm actually going to we're doing a little history dive now. Houses of Parliament. 1630. Because they're not even built then, Scott. Not even built then, mate. 1603, and he was, mate. Stop lying to yourself, Scott. The Long Parliament was an English parliament that lasted from 1640 until 1660. It followed the fiasco of the Short Parliament, which had covered for only 3 weeks during the spring. 11-year Parliament absence. In September, King Charles. Yeah, you got fucked up, you, bro. Got his head took off him. Let's keep going into this because this is going to be full interesting. Right, King Charles. Was he beheaded? The execution of King Charles. Right. I want you to listen up, Elizabeth. Yeah. Charles. William. Royal family. I want you to listen good to this shit. The execution of Charles I by beheading occurred on Tuesday, the 30th of January, 1649. Outside the banqueting house in Whitehall. The execution was a culmination of political and military conflicts between the Royalists and the Parliamentarians in England during the English Civil War, leading to the capture and the trial of Charles. Put your own king on trial. Proper humans, them. They're not fucking about. They're proper free people, them. So the High Court of Justice had declared Charles guilty of attempting to uphold himself an unlimited and tyrannical power to rule according to his will and overthrow the rights and liberties of the people. He was sentenced to death. Laters, bruh. Ta-da. See ya. Say goodbye to your head, mate, because it's fucking gone. Left and right, Ollie. Holy moly. Ollie, called you Ollie, it's holy moly. There's more sheep in America than there's more sheep in Australia than people. Is that actually legit? Wow. Excuse me. Yeah. So, from him killing Charles, 200 years passed until they got the House of Commons in it. The Parliament of the United Kingdom is the supreme legislative body of the United Kingdom, Crown dependencies, and the British Overseas Territories. It alone possesses supremacy and the blah blah, the sovereignty and the blah blah blah. Yeah. Boo boo. The House of Lords includes 2 different types of members. So Parliament as we know it today was formed in 1707 following the ratification of the Treaty of the Union, the Acts of the Union, passed by the Parliament of England and the Parliament of Scotland. But then we know in the 1800s, changed dramatically again. These were like some of these treaties. Have you seen the one recently about how we've all paid for the end of slavery? Her Majesty's Treasury removed that fucking tweet, didn't they? Cheeky bastards. They've had people paying for the end of slavery for 200 years. These are the kind of things that are in the background that need to be in the forefront. It's not right. Not right. (1707). 1801's a union of Great Britain and Ireland. Lot of animosity around that. But basically, if you can look back, House of Commons was a lower house of the Parliament of England. From its development in the 14th century to the Union of England and Scotland in 1707, when it was replaced by the House of Commons of Great Britain in 1801. 18 what, 17 this, 16 that. Fucking, where's the 1990 reform? Where's the fucking 2020 reform? Well, we're living on laws and shit and rules and governance that was dictated centuries ago by our great grandparents, and that it needs to be changed. And like I say, when we start looking at a democracy through consensus and that, I feel like we need a load more votes first. We need to, like, what is consensus to you? 51%. What's it to me? What's it to the next guy? Do you know what I mean? Should we still have lords? Should we get rid of the lords? I'll tell you what, back in the day, the lords helped protect this country. So get your sword out, mate, and come and protect this field now. If you can't take me down, I'm taking it off you, because you clearly can't protect it anymore. Where's your knights? Where's your soldiers? Where's all the shit you used to have? Don't get me wrong, right? So let's imagine 15, 16, 17, 1800s, these lords and these guys that had helped the king win this war. He gets given a castle off the king. 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years later, 20 years later, this castle's become a big fucking town or city. This lord's now got a big fucking army, and he's actually got more power than the king in that area. So the king had to start giving him more, start giving him titles, giving him more land. That's where the lords came from, to protect the fucking king, because some of them was ending up more powerful than him. Do we need lords? Do we need lords in the UK? Do we even need them? The fuck do they do anymore? Except for dictate the way we fucking live without even asking us. They don't even ask us anymore. It's just like, there's a new law. Oh, you know them 10 packs of cigs that you all used to smoke to save a bit of money? Yeah, you go and buy 20 debts, dickhead. No 10s now. That's the kind of shit the bully does in school. You know, so the bully to it all the poor people. So imagine there's a bully in school who runs a little tuck shop himself. And he's selling cigs. And all the teachers and the rich kids just come and buy 20 decks off him all the time. And all the little knobheads and the poor kids just buy 10 decks all the time. And the bully's thinking, you know what? To piss all them off, I'm going to get rid of 10 decks. Fuck them. They'll all have to start putting 2 in that. That's a knobhead. That's a straight dick. Straight dickhead. Like, legitimately just a straight dickhead. So that's what the governments are. Our government are just straight dickheads that manipulate us and control us and impose laws on us that we probably wouldn't choose ourselves. Got it, morning. We still pay for the Sydney Harbour Bridge every time we cross it. It was paid off 30 years ago. It's a fucking joke, Steve. This is what I'm saying, right? Everyone just wants money. Give me some fucking money. I'll go on a beach and just chill out. Right, well, hopefully, all them knobheads have got gains by next year and can just fuck off. And then we can get people who actually want to help change the world and actually want to help make a difference. Because at the moment, everyone just wants to get rich. Well, not everyone. Most people just want to get rich. I'm telling you now, this is why this video, I said it at the beginning, this video will not get as many views as a Bank of England endorsing XRP will, because everyone will come out of the fucking wank. Oh, Bank of England XRP, it's going to move. It's like, if you want to change the world, we have to tackle the deep subjects that can create fundamental change. It's got to, Steve, but it's just like Ledger have said themselves, it's not if or when, it's how. How we're going to implement it. Excuse me. When do America have the local elections? So, actually, do America have 3 elections? Is the senator their local election? Like the state senator, the governors and that? Fucking hell, they have the governor, the senator, the fucking this guy. What's their version of the local election? So in the UK, we have a general election, and you're going to vote for the Prime Minister and the party you want to generally run the country. We then have a local election where you choose your local councillors. You get a list of certain local councillors and you'll pick one. How does that transfer to American voting? Would your local election be your state governor or state senator? And your general election's obviously the president. That won't change, but how would you vote a governor in compared to a senator? Who votes the governor in? Who gives the governor his job? Who gave Arnie his job? Who gave Arnie his job as governor? Who gives his senator his job when politics is a good career choice? Yeah, Johnny, I really do think that politicians' wages need reducing. Their expenses need to be tracked and transparent, also reducing. And you will then only get people who truly want to be a politician being a politician. You won't get someone who just wants to go and sit in the House of Commons and the House of Lords and just sit there asleep, being paid 70k a year, getting backhands off the EU and all his brown envelopes off the EU. We're not putting up with that anymore. Exactly. There's still massive landowners trying to get anything done in this country. You have to get so much red tape. People give up. Exactly, Gada. I'm sick. Right. It's harder with Americans because Americans don't really have a Rehabilitation Act, but we do. And I'm still seen as a criminal. I wouldn't get a shotgun license because of my past. Can't go fucking hunting. I'm uneasy to go out with that. It's a survival knife. Survival. Look, it's got it on the back so I can survive. It's got fire steel to light a flaming fire, mate. Know what I'm saying? It's a survival knife, but I'm scared to take it out unless I'm going camping because I live in the UK and our everyday carry laws are fucking ridiculous. Mate, we can't even hunt with a bow and arrow. You can't even hunt with a crossbow. Can't even hunt with a fucking 2-2 air rifle anymore. It's an absolute fucking joke. That's just burnt my screen. Has that just burnt my screen, that little fucker? Has as well. Which I'm due a new phone soon, innit? For the record, don't fire your fire steel towards your phone because it can leave a slight mark. But yeah, we can't do shit in Britain. Legitimately can't do fuck all. Just shows how hot they get that, you know. Fucking hell. Yeah, I don't. You know the gun stuff, it's a weird one, that. Sorry, I'm fucking with my screen because I nearly wrecked it. I've not wrecked it. I've just, it's interesting mark. The thing is, I get it in the UK. I understand that there's like, it's lazy. It's not just lazy parenting, it's lazy schooling, it's lazy everything, right? It's all just fucking lazy. The throwaway barbecues at the moment are causing fires, so what did he do? What do you think the suggestion is? So there's throwaway barbecues, and no beds using them, causing fires. What's the suggestion? What's the main consensus suggestion? Ban the barbecues and stop making the barbecues. How about we teach fucking humans to respect nature a bit more, eh? How can we, you know what I mean? Can we teach people to use a fucking barbecue properly? Can you teach your kids to use a barbecue properly? Like, can we teach kids to not chop down trees that are still growing? To use the fallen wood and the wood that's just fell down. You use the already dead wood. No one really wants green wood. I don't care whether you're carving, lighting a fire, whatever. You don't want green wood. You'd want dead dry wood. What you're doing cutting down green trees? Unless you're desperate, you shouldn't be cutting down a green tree. And even then, you pick an extremely fucking young one that's pretty much in the shade. Or you cut branches off. You don't cut the full fucking tree down. There's a way to respect nature. There's a way to respect the land. And schools would rather teach you to be an industry, in factory fucking robot than to actually teach you to respect nature. They'd rather teach you about Noah's fucking Ark than how to respect a tree. Only been convicted a couple of times, non-violent crimes. They refused me gun license, passed a written test. It's bullshit, mate. Like I say, complete and utter fucking bullshit. The laws in the UK, you can't even go wild camping in the UK. No, you're supposed to get lost. So you can go hiking, and if you get lost, you can pitch a tent. But the next day you've got to move on. You can't camp in the same place twice, 2 nights running in the UK, unless you're in Dartmoor, like one fucking place in the UK. An absolute joke. Camping laws, hunting laws, all a joke. About Steve saying about the land, 63%, I think 63 or 68. I don't like pulling numbers out my arse, but it's of land in the UK is farmland. And I've had to question my head there. So, how much UK land is farmland? No, I didn't ask for the price. I asked for how much fucking land in the UK is farmland, you absolute weapon. The agricultural area used is 23.7 million acres, 9.34 million hectares, about 70% of the land area of England. 36% of agricultural land is croppable. 25 of the total. They don't even use it all. There's grass fields all over the gaff that we could all be building nice little houses on and building nice little communities on, but no, they want us all cramped up in the cities. And all these licenses to fish, Alan, exactly. All these fucking lords and farmers and dickheads are forcing the way we fucking live. No one owns the world, right? We've got two choices in the next 30 odd years. They either redistribute all the land between everyone, and it starts getting fair. And anyone who wants to live in the city can go and live in the city, gets an apartment. But anyone who wants to go and live in the country, you get a bit of land. Get a bit of land. If we distributed all the land in the UK between everyone in the UK, we'd have 2 football pitches each. 2 football pitches each. I don't care about the lords. I don't care about people losing a little bit of land. Get fucked, mate. Because the guy sat at a bin in town wants his 2 football pitches. I want me 2 football pitches. You need your 2 football pitches. It should be done properly. Queen's the biggest landowner in the world. It is. And it's fucking wrong, Gary. It's wrong. Should be able to protect yourself and your property with weapons. Oh, Crypto, don't get me wrong, we are. I've got weapons, bro. Come through that door. Anyone comes through that door now, the red's coming up. And I mean literally. The fucking head's coming off. I mean, that's pretty old and tatty. But that'll take a fucking head off that, mate. Make no mistake. Good decent swipe. Goes through a 4-inch bit of wet timber anyway. Takes bamboo down well enough. The parang is actually out. It's getting a grind soon. It's getting resharpened soon. My mum pays some stupid rent in her land, like the house that my mum bought her house. She owns her house, but apparently doesn't own the land that it's fucking built on. It's an absolute joke. The UK produces less than 60% of the food it consumes. Agricultural activity occurs in most rural locations. It's concentrated East Anglia, blah, blah, blah. Right, look at this. Despite skilled farmers, advanced technology, fertile soil, and subsidies, farm earnings are relatively low, mainly due to low prices at the farm gate, low earnings, high land prices, and a shortage of let farmland discourage young people from joining the industry. Lower your fucking prices of your land and I'll open a farm, bro. You see that? Right, let me show you something here now. I'll fucking show you. Farm. There's my farm. It's getting ate to death. Cabbage is getting ate to death. That cabbage looks sweet though. That one looks legit. That cabbage looks legit. There's carrots. Got some mint. These are the herbs. Some lavender down there. Strawberry plant there. Don't talk to me like I wouldn't run a farm if I could. We've got no room. Got no fucking room. Like, where's my 2 football pitches? Where's my 2 football pitches? I'll send someone some carrots if they send me some tomatoes. We're not done a tomato plant this year. Legitimately, I just realised I've not done a tomato plant. Shit. So again, I've got strawberry plants. Does someone want to swap some strawberries for some tomatoes? Fuck the farmers. Fuck Tesco. Fuck them all. I'll get me 2 football pitches and I'll sell some cabbages, some cauliflowers, some carrots and shit. It's smash the likes, lurkers. I love the way you put it, Steve. Lurkers. I call them browsers, me. People who browse and don't comment or don't click and that. Still appreciate him being here. I got charged with defrauding the Commonwealth. I think caught driving with number plates. I did a great job. He says, I told me well done. Flipping heck, Alan. Queen does run the show, but she runs the show with the help of all the lords. No, it will not be the only reserve currency. It's the first one that's basically setting a standard. It's forcing every other digital asset to settle in seconds, or it's not going to keep up. So if you want to create a bridge asset yourself, you need to do it in 4 seconds or less. Otherwise, XRP will be chosen. Well, there was a seed in my cush, Rayman, the other day. I put it in, but it's not showing yet. But again, if I grow up to 8 plants and the police come round, they take my plants off me. So do I want to become a criminal again? I'm legitimately only just got a spent record now. I'm officially rehabilitated. I'm not a criminal anymore. I've not got an active unspent criminal record. It's spent. Morning rising. Jason, I'll need all that veg will be ours, but what I'm saying is, if I had 2 football pitches, if I had the land that this country can actually be split into with the 70 odd million people that are living in it, we'd get 2 football pitches each. And I'd have a lot more veg on the go than that one. I'd have apple trees, pear trees, I'd have the lot. I'd have trees there, mate. Like, I would. I'd have some livestock. I'd have at least something giving me red meat, mate. 100%. Oh, I'm not saying I'd have elks or buffalo and I've only got 2 football pitches. But I'd probably get myself a few families of rabbits and squirrels on the go. 100% I would. Got done for over 8 plants, Craig. See, this is the thing. If you've got 8 plants or less in the UK, they'll come and just take the plants. If you've got more than 8 plants, they'll come and take the plants, the equipment, and you. Do you know what I mean? You're getting in shit. It's beyond a joke, and it makes me wonder how long it's going to take to actually force change. Let me see what, like, distributed ledger technology voting. Now, when you search votes, it comes to the ledgers and the networks that need voting within them. Go to gov.uk. Oh, this is where it's at. Where's that? What's that? Wow, this one was 2018. Accept the fucking cookies. Distributed ledger, technology, community of interest. There's no white bars where supporting innovation teams. Interest. Interesting. So there's on a gov. There that in 2018 he mentioned DLT and the community and it being of interest, especially within voting. Extremely interesting. I wonder how long it'll take. I don't expect any votes. Or the whole system of votes, to be changed this year. I mean, voting for the new president in a couple of months, aren't you? Do you know what I mean? But by 2024, 2025, when the next round of elections are coming, it's extremely interesting. Yeah, we covered that in yesterday's stream, Jason. I actually read the thing out, and then we got Sam Ian's video up after it. I think with things like that, it's a lot about the terminology in it and the perspective you're taking when you're actually reading it. It can be took negative or positive, in my opinion. Not on every two football pitches in the world or in UK naked. There will be an area where there's currently no rabbits, and if you get that area, you're gonna have to take rabbits there. You know what I'm getting at, bro. But yeah, I know what you mean. If I had that 2 football pitches behind the house there, if I just had that land behind my house, there's plenty of wildlife on there. Me, I'm Scott, Jason. Watch my video from yesterday, man. We usually copy America, except for guns. We don't really copy America, though, do we? In what, Alan? I agreed with you then at first, but then I started thinking, well, we got rid of slavery first. We got rid of this first. We had a fucking they fucked us off in a war because we didn't want to fucking copy each other. I think the media will like to tell us that we're fucking similar and we do things the same, but I'm not sure we do, mate. Not sure we do. Yeah, it's a long one, Jason, but it's interesting. We discovered ODL. We discovered transactions as well yesterday. If a transaction doesn't leave one network and the XRP isn't moved through the XRPL to another network, it's exempt from being ODL. They're not counting it as ODL. So, for instance, if I'm a remittance payer and I go and work in Italy, and I'm a remittance payer sending euros back home out of a euro account, and it's coming into England as pounds to my mum, that's ODL, remittance payment. If I just send XRP to my mum's Wirex from my Wirex, and my mum just cashes it out, that's could be exempt from ODL through Wirex. It's correct, Mr. Greed. It's part of the plan. Too many coincidences. It's like the whole riots and that in it, and the whole blaming the financial crisis on COVID. It's too many. It just fits the narrative that we knew was coming. We fucking knew it was coming. This narrative, the reset, recession, possible depression. You know what I mean? A new system coming in as a safety net and all that. We knew it was coming. We knew it was coming. We even questioned if there'd be riots. We even questioned how they're going to keep everyone away from the ATMs without them rioting and all this stuff. And it all just kind of fucking happened like that anyway. And now we're all like, that's a bit coincidental, wasn't it? Oh, well, it's crazy, mate. You can now buy crypto on Ledger Live. What the on-off ramp? On Ledger? Oh, I ain't got it on this phone. I need to swap. I'm getting a new phone soon. I can't wait to upgrade. Especially now I've just fucking tickled my screen a little bit with a fucking Fire Steel. There are a lot of people flapping. Also, first cause of using wallet systems not showing the value of XDC. Want some immediately on XDC wallet payment cleared in 5 seconds. Interesting. See you later, Alison. Have a good day and week. Much love. Kurt. It was a mixture. I didn't call the late 2019, early 2020. Kurt called it with others. Kurt off watching. Never going to do them all. I'm only going to remember two of them. Peter Schiff. The Schiff and Ship. I get them mixed up, man. Schiff. He's Schiff, the CIA guy, and Ship is the gold guy. Or is Schiff the gold guy and Ship, the CIA guy. Them two. So the CIA guy got Kurt on the SDR basket. He actually fucking says they're gonna bring in a new monetary system and a new global reserve using the IMF's SDR basket. Then you had other people like Gregory Mannarino and Ship, the gold guy. They were saying like when the crash is gonna be, like giving their interpretations of it, and then Kurt rolled and brought his and how he felt about it, and yeah, called the didn't really call the virus, but everything that's happening all around it, minus some brutal police murders, everything's pretty much looks exactly how we expected it to look. To be honest, it's pretty crazy, isn't it? The fact that we've got a virus and a murder, like, taking the attention away from what we expected anyway, is quite fucking crazy. I'm not saying it's fucking causation, massive, it's just coincidental, like we were saying earlier. It's back to work, eh, Craig? I wish I was going back to work, mate. Or God had just dropped 4 ton a week in my bag. That'd be alright. Yo, brah, you want to, yeah? Just 4. Okay, now free. I'll settle for free. Yeah, just put 3 in it a week, bro. And we're good for now. Like, just 3 ton a week. We're good. Say he's grafting fucking 8 hours a day for 4. Sorry, he grafted 8 hours a day for 4 ton. Just give me 3. But not like take your fucking 300 quid a month from Universal Credit and give that people weekly. Then we're getting somewhere. Happy Wednesday, Pablo. Waiting for Ice 9 now. The trial, like, dude, this is my point. I said to Kurt the other week, did he even need Ice 9? We was talking. This is again a thing we was talking about. Do you shut an ATM off? Did he shut the ATMs off? Go to your local ATM at the moment, and if your local community and society is practicing social distancing and all your shops have got you 2 meters apart and all that, right? A few months ago, thinking how they're going to close the ATMs, well, they've shut half of them because they're closer than 2 meters together. So one on the right at Tesco at the moment closed out of order constantly. So only the one on the left can be stood at. So there's not 2 people using the ATMs at the same time. Is that not like partially shut off anyway? They've shut half the ATMs off. Just don't shut them all off. Got people queuing for money when they can just walk in the shop and pay on the card. Why are most people still queuing for money when they can buy most things on the card? It's a weird one. Morning, JJ. Ice 9, I mean, somebody even go fucking as far as to say it's all conspiracy. Have you watched Kurt's video? That's the one you want to, that's what you want to do. Fucking hell, man. This causes January 23rd, 2017, the Ice 9 lockdown, right? So, obviously, you want to know a little bit more about it, jump right in yourself, and I always do your own research a little bit. But I'm often asked, does Ice 9 put gold at risk of lockdown or confiscation. First Ice 9 is a phrase borrowed from author Kurt Vonnegut. Wrote a book in the 60s called Cat's Cradle. It's a doomsday scenario. In Cat's Cradle, a doomsday machine is created. Scientists discovered a molecule called Ice 9, very similar to water with two differences. And the plot in the book is that all the small amounts of size, blah, blah. It's a doomsday machine, a road to ruin, a road to ruin. In the crisis in 1998, which was very involved in negotiating a solution prior to the crisis. What we saw in 98 was Wall Street get together and bail out the hedge fund. In 2008, the central banks got together and bailed out Wall Street. In the next crisis, 2018, maybe sooner, maybe tomorrow, who's got to bail out the central banks? Each bailout gets bigger than the one before. Each crisis gets bigger than the one before. We are now at the point where the ability of the central banks to reliquify the system is in doubt because they're heavily stretched. The central bank balance sheets are extremely bloated. Central banks have printed so much money already, it's not obvious that they can do it again from the current levels without destroying confidence in the dollar and all major currencies. The question is, where will the liquidity come from in the next financial crisis if it can't come from the central banks? The answer is the IMF. The International Monetary Fund has the only clean balance sheet out of the major financial institutions. It can print money. They call it the SDR, the special drawing rights. I call New World Money. The IMF can flood the market and the world with trillions of SDRs equivalent to more than trillions of dollars, which is exactly how they'll do it. This is failing to mention that it actually needs the dollars and fiat currencies in the reserves before it can issue the SDRs. The SDRs are still pegged to reserve currencies. Go and look it up, man. We could spend all fucking day on that, guys. Like, we really, really could spend all day on that. But Ice 9, as a general, is freezing the financial system and locking all the small fries out so the big fish get saved, basically. They get bailed out. Morning, Nelson. Right. It's a weird... Ripple admits ODL can't handle the volume. Did they actually say ODL can't handle the volume, or did they just say that we're doing this, that, and that because of this, that, and that? It's an interesting one, isn't it? It will handle the volume. It'll have to. It's what's being figured out at the moment. It's what all these corridors are about. So if the liquidity isn't there, then yeah, it's not going to handle the volume. So maybe there's just not enough liquidity yet in on-demand liquidity. I don't believe ODL, people are taking ODL as just Ripple as well. Just because they've renamed X-Rapid ODL doesn't mean that they're the sole proprietor of on-demand liquidity. It will come from other places as well. It's like we say, standards are being set, aren't there? He's focusing on small remittance now. Treasury-sized transactions have to be broken down into parts, can't go all at once. So this is interesting from what I've been saying. How's it going to work, these packets of data? I've been saying recently that I think it should go to the treasury-sized transactions, and I think it might, but was never a guarantee. It's as always is. It's speculation. How does the per second payments work then? So it is legitimately, are they legitimately going to now try per second payments at peanuts? So the volume over time looks like hardly nothing, but the payments are still there. Or does it make more sense for the packet to grow from hundreds of thousands of people watching Netflix at the same time, and then every hour or every couple of days it goes to Netflix? These are the things that the developers have to work out and the corporations, entities, and regulators all have to agree on, really, don't they? It's this is also what I keep saying about currency to currency isn't the major problem. It's the world we're going to move into the future, the autonomous world, people wanting to swap a car for a house. So, does anyone remember the swap shop in the Loot? The Loot was a newspaper that's probably now a website, and it used to have a swap shop in it. And people used to put like, right, I've got an Harley Davidson 600cc motorbike, good condition this year, worth this much. I want to swap it for the small car because I've just had a baby and I can't take the baby on a motorbike. Can give the missus a backer, but baby seat, no go. So what, swap a motorbike for a small car? Is there anyone out there with a small car who wants a motorbike? And in the 90s, probably 80s as well, you only really remember it in the 90s, but you had swap shop. We were swapping pedal bikes on there. We was getting broken motorbikes for decent pedal bikes. We was getting a decent pedal bike off someone, buying it for like peanuts, probably robbed, but oh well, we was a knobhead back in the day. Was getting these pedal bikes and swapping mint pedal bikes for shit broken motorbikes and then fixing the motorbike up so it ran, taking it on a local field and fucking running it to death. The Loot Swap Shop is online, is what IOV is what the Internet of Value is. It's a swap shop, but online, where assets, any asset can be traded for any other asset with the bridge asset between them. This is why they say XRPL can move anything of value. The currencies don't really matter. The currencies don't really matter. Derivatives are not a currency, are they? Yet they're the most valuable industry on the planet. Like, it's got the biggest chunk of all the value is within derivatives. Do you know what I mean? There's commodities with value. It's not actually cash and currency. It's just an asset of value that's going to be able to be traded with another asset of value in an asset swap. It's fucking interesting. Now, does anyone actually remember Loot Swap Shop? Cryptopolis did a video a few days back about the governments are not going to let banks go under using QE. Warns of deflation following hyperinflation up to 70% real estate crash. I've seen that in other places, naked. A lot of people saying multiple industries suffering 35 to 70% crashes. I think, I'm not an economist, I'm not 100%, but I think over 20% is considered a crash. Over 20%, over a certain percentage dip over 2 quarters. If you're down for 2 quarters, you're recession. And then I think, like, yeah, if it goes on even longer and down a little bit more, you're entering depression, which is why them figures are being thrown out and people are actually speculating if there's going to be a depression, not just the recession we're in at the moment. And it makes you wonder if pumping a shitload in during Q2 is going to bring it back up. So by July next month, they can actually say, oh, Q2 actually went up a little bit, so it's not a recession. When really we're all like, come on, man. Like, come on. This is why some banks in the past have said, look, we're in recession now. We just can't really all out, like, say it until it's been for 2 quarters and it's officially a recession, downward trend for 2 quarters. I can't even really get anything up about the Loot Swap Shop in the 90s. It's poor, that. It used to be fucking great. Swap shop in a loot paper. There you go, Loot. Classic. Stop it. Stop it. It's still there. Stop it, mate. What? So Loot established 1985. It's online now, but it used to be a newspaper. So it's clear it's got like stuff for sale and that. I wonder if it's still got the swap shop. Dogs, enter postcodes, get an off or free recovery, vehicle hire, large room to rent, sell your property at auction. No ways, Loot online. Categories, articles. Oh, where's search? Need to search. Swap shop. Gotta still have swap shop. Nothing found. So for something that we used to do in the 90s with your local community, people that you could meet up, like doing it on Gumtree. Now I know like has Gumtree got a swap shop? It's basically going back to what we used to do as teenagers. We used to swap shit with people in the paper. You could do it for free as well, but if you did more than 13 ads a year, so more than one a month, you was considered a trader. It was the same in the auto trader, I think. And like Christine Lagarde used to say that the town hall's coming back, but online. This is what I mean. Not only is the town hall coming back, local communities governing themselves, voting. It can come back like that, where your local rates and your local council tax goes to your local council, and your bigger taxes go to the NHS and whatever else. Should you be paying your council tax and it's going towards your local NHS hospital and all that? Would that affect areas? Would the poorer areas end up with shit hospitals and the rich areas end up with mint hospitals? Is that another thing we need to vote on? How it's done? How rich people are taxed? Is that another thing we need to vote on? Always swap bike parts and that, Alan. Like, I don't think that the kids of today, they know, because there's flippers. Clearly, there's kids flipping shit. They'll buy shit from one place and they'll flip it on eBay. Posting and packaging and all that shit. Don't think they really realised how easy it used to be on the Loot to just ring the guy in the paper who wanted a pedal bike for his motorbike and meet him in Ashton or wherever. And it was done. They'd come straight to your house half the time, or whoever had the car. Like, oh, I'll come to yours. 2 hours after that Ripple announcement, 800 million XRP was moved. Emptying the Nostra Vostro account. Would it be considered a Nostra Vostro account at MoneyGram? Or just a fucking account? So when Chris Larsen says companies like PayPal and all that are masking the problem within the legacy systems, it means they're masking the Nostra Vostro accounts. And Nostra Vostro is more the banks between each other. So Bank of England's like Bank of America, my money in your account. That's one side of it. Nostro, my money in your account. And Bank of England's like, Bank of America's like, yeah, your money in my account. That's Vostro. I'm gonna fucking get the actual terms for you now. But I think PayPal and MoneyGram and that, do they not have an account at the bank? And when they pay someone in America, they then send from their own bank in England or wherever it came from, they not then top up their American account. Interesting that. Like, is it really being locked off? Nostro Vostro definition. It's Italian, isn't it? Nostro Vostro, the accounting terms used to distinguish an account held for another entity from an account another entity holds. So we can see it there. Nostro, our money, but in your account. At Bank of England, like that, to Bank of America, our money in your account, yeah. Our Nostro. But then the Bank of America's term is your money in our account. That's Vostro. So depending on which way you see it, nostro is our money with you, and vostro is your money with us. It's the same account. There's not, Bank of England don't have a nostro and a vostro, two separate accounts with Bank of America. It's two different perspectives of the same account. My money with you, your money with us. It's just again, it's the same fucking two different words for two different perspectives on the same account. It's making people think that there's two, or making some people think there's two accounts there at times. It's interesting. Absolutely local voting. However, local taxes for local communities because disadvantage less affluent communities and favour wealthy areas. Exactly, Naked. So it's interesting. But where do you live, Naked? Where you're from? If you was living in the UK in the 50s, 60s, and I think 70s, before they entered the EU and it started changing, you had what was called local rates that went to your local area, or it went to your local council and it was dispersed within your local area. My town back then was a nice little booming town with local markets and everything. Now, 30 years after being in the EU and that, it's destroyed. Local rates went away. It's falling to pieces, my town. It's degrading, mate. Jesus, Steve. Did that? Jay's posted about BBC today. They'll remove Little Britain, but won't remove Savile. Got a point, mate. Stop paying TV license if you pay BBC. From Suffolk. Nice. So, yeah, Naked, I don't know how old you are or if you remember back in the day or if your parents are still with us or anything. But ask someone who was about in the 50s and the 60s and that. Ask them about local rates and how it used to work, and did they think it'd be good if we went back to that? Did they think it's worse since? Do they think it's better since? Can they remember a better time with local rates? Because the people I speak to can. So it's interesting. Well, you haven't experienced it. You've not really got an opinion of it, have you? But like I say, everyone I speak to, when I speak about local rates in the past. But again, what did that mean? If it just becomes a percentage of the wage, like we can't deny the fact that the richer, more wealthier areas would end up better off. That's when it comes to the giant corporations being taxed more, I think. The billionaires being taxed more. So I think we can all accept if you've got an area of millionaires that are paying local rates, it's going to be an extremely good area. But there comes a point, guys, where we've got to, people talk about putting wage caps on footballers. Is there a wage cap in rugby? Is there a wage cap in rugby? What sport's got a wage cap? My head's not telling me the sport, but someone's got a wage cap. Why is there not a wage cap on Jeff Bezos? Why is there not a wage cap on Bill Gates? Why is there not a wage cap on all these billionaires that are still letting people starve? Is it not there? Is it not their corporations and institutions, instead of them making them billionaires that should support the lower communities that can't really support themselves as well as the rich communities can? What would the global consensus be of something like that? Wage caps in sports. Professional sports, a salary cap is an agreement or rule that places a limit on the amount of money a team can spend on players' salaries. It exists as a per player limit or a total limit of the team's roster. Or what examples? Adoption. North America, the National Football League, the National Hockey League, the Major League Soccer, Major League Rugby, Canadian Football League, National Lacrosse League, fucking hell, National Women's Soccer League, minor leagues, Basketball Association, uses a soft cap plus luxury tax system. The United Kingdom, in England, top level leagues in both rugby codes, the Gallagher Premiership and the Rugby Union and the Super League, Rugby League have salary caps. I fucking knew. Well done, Ed. Well done, Ed. I should trust him more often. I knew rugby was there. Australia and New Zealand, most major leagues operating in the two countries have salary cap provisions. are capping sportsmen for? Not capping Bezos. Not capping the politicians and shit. Cap your own spending, bro, before you start capping other people. Legitimately, so why are they not like if there's wage caps and that in sports? Why is there not wage caps on billionaires and then all that money goes back into local communities? Well, Jason, I get that term. I understand that term. Wage cap. Laugh out loud. Because they won't let it happen. I get that. I understand that. The thing we need to start understanding, mate, it's not up to them. They don't own us. They don't rule us. They think they do. But they don't. They rule for us. They don't rule over us. They rule for, they're supposed to rule for us. They're currently ruling over us, dictating us, pushing and throwing laws on us, bills that are getting passed without you even really being asked. Not fucking change.org petitions, people going on them acting like that's actually voting and making differences. And don't get me wrong, I think they actually do get big enough at times to get in front of politicians, and then what do they just get torn up and thrown away? Back in the 80s, I remember vast inequalities between the North and the South of the country. The South was particularly affluent. It's still there even now. We gotta. Yeah, public servants, like they're supposed to be servants, aren't they? They're just not. Scott Dickinson, mate, it is laughable. It's laughable, innit? Police are public servants. I said it in a video the other day. You're public servants. Now, we understand it's a tough job. But I seen a great post online the other day with how police training should go now regards to teaching them about mental health, teaching them a little bit of psychology. And why is every cop not a negotiator? Like, do you know what I mean? In the kind of role they do. You can have like 10 coppers there, or boys like, yeah, wait for the negotiator. You're like, what? Like, what? Like, you'd all be fucking trained to speak to people and calm them and calm the situation. Because after all, that's your job. wait for the guy that's been trained properly. Oh yeah, well, we got to raid an house. Yeah, let's wait for the guys that have been trained properly for the SWAT. Why not all just get the same training? Like, it's a great post online the other day about that. We need democracy through consensus, Craig, to hold them to account. Greater wealth distribution, since that's a very, very interesting perspective you're taking, Naked. Very interesting. Like it's hard, isn't it? You know, when you yeah. When you consider that most people that are saying it was better back then have not really adopted some of the tech we use today and some of the convenience we're used to. They see it as detrimental to society. Whether it's gaming, going online, too much internet, too much social media, too much this, too much that. And yet you've got millions of people building brands on social media, making millions on gaming. It's, by the way, your mid-60s, Gen X, nice. So the club, this is what I'm saying though, Steve. So if they're allowing wage caps in sports and that, I think it's time we add them for the politicians, for the corporation bosses, for the bankers, for anyone making over 100 mil a year at first. Seriously, like anyone who's pulling in after your 45% tax or your higher tax bracket, if you're still pulling in Over 100 million a year. Something going on, man. Something going on. Now this protects the likes of fucking Robert Downey Jr. No one brings him up when they talk about overpaid people. They'll talk about your football players, but they won't talk about Robert Downey Jr. earning 50 million for one Avengers movie. And regardless of all the other sponsorship he does that year, you're pulling 50 to 100 million a year. That's more than enough to live. But more than 100 million, there's got to come a time where we're like, bro, do you not see the poverty in the world? Do you not see people starving? Oh, because I see you on the fucking stage of comic relief and all that shit, and you're richer than you was last year, and there's still as many fucking starving people as there was last year. There comes a time where you've got enough money, mate. You've got enough money. You just have. You got to start helping the fucking world. So at what point do we like, look, I'm sorry, Jeff. Really nice what you're doing and all that. Fucking think your garden's great with that launch pad you've built so you can go to space yourself. Like, yeah, that's interesting. But nah, bruh. Nah. It's time you put a little bit more back into the system. You started your business saying it's all about the community. It's all about the customer. It's all about customer service. And you've ended up pretty fucking rich off that, mate. Do you know what I mean? How about putting a little bit back in, bro? Makes me wonder, what value do I need to get until I can actively start making tracks? Flights aren't cheap. You got to start flying all over the world every year to help people here, there, and everywhere, building them wells, building them little communities with concrete houses and stuff, little concrete school with some concrete huts around, get some clean sanitary in and some water and stuff, some hot water, even off solar power, not just clean water, hot water. You're actually changing the fucking world. How much does Scott Pratt need to be able to do that? I don't know at the moment. Don't know. Could end up sat with 10 million in the bank and think, yeah, this is it. Buzzing. Gonna go and do it. Go to Africa, one little project, and have nothing left and be shit. Didn't get investment for the next project. What the fuck am I gonna do? Bastard. Managed to help that little community, but I'm done now. It's tough. It's gonna be tough. It's not gonna be easy changing the world, and it's not gonna be easy forcing change. But we have to stay positive, and we have to remember that we're voting for a reason, and we're voting to change the system for the better. And the more this technology changes, especially with the likes of Ledger doing an article like that about the 2020 elections, especially when they're talking about mailing in votes and expats get to email in votes and stuff like that. It's time it's just done on an app, I think. Really, really is. The system wants us all to be treated. Do you know what? I did a thingy test the other day, right? A political stance test. And it had a question like something like, I think it's better if some people just keep themselves to themselves. It put it in a proper racist way, the question, right? Where it was just like proper blunt, certain cultures or certain race, I can't remember whether it was races or cultures, I think it was cultures. Certain cultures should just keep themselves to themselves. And then you have strongly disagree, agree, strongly agree. And I'm sat there thinking, oh that's a fucking hanging question to throw at me. Should some cultures just keep themselves to themselves? And I'm sat there thinking, I know this, what it wants me to fucking say I disagree. So it puts me as a libertarian, non-racist motherfucker. But then in the other side of my head, I'm thinking, I remembered that Christian guy that went to them Indians living on the island and your Aborigines and all that are keeping themselves to themselves. And you're fucking right. It's better at sometimes that people just keep themselves to themselves. Don't take your Christianity to some Indian island and be surprised when they put a spear through your chest or shoot you with a bow and arrow. Some people should be left to themselves. But on that question, it made it seem so fucking racist. to put fucking disagree. And put fucking disagree on it, and I'm thinking I don't actually in certain perspective I don't disagree, but in another perspective, when you're considering neighbouring cultures try to be a mixed cultured society, does it become any different? And I'm just fucking like at the question then, and it proper did me head in. They making me feel like a fucking racist, but clearly it's it's a weird one. I think America's voting, Scott, seems messed up a lot of the times. It's I think the main confusion about American voting when the result comes out is the electoral collage thing that you have. I don't know if you call it a college or a collage. I can't remember whether it's ERA in the thing. It's a college, the electoral collage, and it's to do with your population in it. So in areas where there's more populace, they have more voting power, but it's not necessarily displaying the true thoughts of the whole country. So you have a little collage thing that wiggles it up, and then it's like that's the actual result. That's where a lot of people get confused with American voting, especially people outside America. Massive changes since the 80s, and the Conservatives for it. Let Corbyn say that naked. There's going to be a lot more starving people after this pandemic. Holy moly. It's highly possible, mate, with the amount of people out of work and that. Yeah, capitalism's great until it's not capped. That's a good way of putting it, that guy. I like that. Don't bank becoming banked through blockchain, they'll build themselves and be able to take pride in it. Exactly, Johnny. I'll take capitalism over totalitarianism any day of the week. I'm with you, Nelson. I'm with you. I'm actually not millennial, Steve. That's the misconception. I'm 1984. I'm just before it. I'm like right at the end of Gen X. What are you, Gen X before me? I'm just out of millennial, I think. I'm not millennial, me. I was fucking leaving school in 2000. Left school 20 years ago. Born in 84. Generation X. Are we on Generation Z now? Generation X from the 60s to the late 70s. What generation is 1984? Gen X. Many experts have defined the generation as being born between 81 and 2004. Generation X is the group following the baby boomer generation from 46 to 64 and preceding the millennials. So the parameters now, in most people's perspective, is Generation X ranges from 65 to 84. I am the last year. Last of the Generation X, baby. Last of the Gen X. And I'm a Gemini. Know that. Morning, Steve. Marshall. Kumbaya. On the other hand, if we spoke the same language, agreed on the same thing, everyone would be happy. It's an interesting one, that Pablo. I think future language is mathematics, me. Some sort of mathematics and physics language. Explaining stuff in geometric patterns. Like, just be easier. Just be easier for people who can speak like that. It's like why autism is basically evolution, innit? The autistic kids. When aliens arrive, right, the only people that are going to be able to communicate with them, unless aliens have learned English and other Earth languages, is mathematics and physics. It will geometry, mathematics and physics. It's legitimately will be the language that they use to speak to aliens when and if they come, unless the aliens learn English or Mandarin and Chinese wherever they land. Generation wow. Nelson, is that the current generation? That generation? Wah, wah, wah. That is that is that's funny. That like that. Well, after it's interesting how it's ended up being called Generation like X, Y, Z, isn't it? Where's Generation like where's Generation J? Where's Generation F? Like why X, Y, Z? As if we're gonna get a bone, we're gonna get a new cycle. The Generation A is about to appear. The new generation in a digital age that are born 2040 onwards, 2045 onwards, that don't even that have never even seen a steering wheel in a vehicle in their life, that drone flying taxis are normal. It's a bit weird, isn't it? How it just falls on X, Y, Z, Generation ADD. I'm pretty sure that I'd have me fucking ADHD if I was still in school. Holding a pipe, Artshead Pipe. We'll have to meet up at Artshead Pipe one day, Steve. I'm planning on doing a few hikes soon with my bag, just to get a bit of tabbing done, like practice the tab, mate, with a bit of weight on. Naked. This is why I always turn around and say, like, well, if we imagine that we had an app now, not just local governments, local communities, but national, state, global, to actually dictate what happens and stuff. Like if they go to war somewhere, some people get a choice, or at least a say in whether a war should be fought on the planet. Oh, we're gonna go and bomb these people. Hang on a minute. You know, don't just go and bomb him. But no, ring him up, give him a bell, mate. See if you can sort it out. Let's go and bomb him. Fucking 2025 now, G. Ain't bombing anymore. Nah, no. Only time we bomb is when we've been bombed, and if someone bombs, they're in shit. This is the thing. Like, what's the global consensus? What's the global consensus on gay rights in Saudi Arabia? And does the globe have a say in Saudi Arabia? With the Saudi people, what's their consensus? What would consensus be in North Korea for a democracy? Would China go to a democracy through consensus if you gave China the option? Now, if the UN just walked in and was like, yo, China, I'm not being funny, bro, but your people getting to choose now if they want to stay out of run or if they want to change to a democracy through consensus, algorithms, they're getting the choice now. Like, is that not the UN's fucking job to promote peace and shit? I am on the border, man. Gen F, because the fuck, it's like Generation A will still be waiting for XRP to move. What's happening, Carl? Generation Y, fucking LA. Better late than never, Carl. Better late than never. Look at all the mods like a bloody cult. That's what I did say, we should wait. Everyone's like, gizmod, gizmod, gizmod. Lots of blue wrenches. Lots of comment deleters. Watch your comment. That's all they can do. That's all they've got. I don't think I've given them any more permissions. I don't know. They can delete comments when if it ever gets a bit out of hand. So the Iranian leaders, like, there's no gay people in Iran. Like, so what would the consensus in Iran be on a fucking thing, eh? So what I mean? There's so right, and what a lot of people aren't getting, we've got systemic problems. The system is fucked and corrupt to the point where half of us now fully believe that the people at the top are just all out paedophiles, satanic worshipping motherfucking evil bastards, and there's not much we can really do about it. We have to trust that there's other people in the system that's corrupt as fuck that want to change it. So there's people who think that Trump's actively trying to change it, that he's had kids in cages to stop them going in the system and stuff like that, that he's been keeping them away from the people that used to let them slip to paedophiles. And then you've got another hand, people that think he's one of them. It's like, what we need, how can we prove information's real when it's presented online? How can we validate truth? Do you know what I mean? And tackling a systemic problem that you want to start from the bottom of the pyramid. So you've got a pyramid that you want to collapse, basically, so we can rebuild it. And the people at the top, fucking satanic, worshipping paedophiles, but you can't attack that. Can't attack that. Come down it, and come down it, and come down it. We'll get right to the base of the pyramid. What have you got? What have you got at the base of that pyramid? Ask yourself that question before I give you the answer in a minute. Is that at the base of the pyramid, you've got systemic brutality against minorities. Don't care how you try and showcoat it. Don't care what anyone says. That's the base of the pyramid. So the Black Lives Matter is tackling that foundation of the fucking pyramid. It's the foundation that holds the rest of it up that they're trying to tackle. Because we can't climb it and tackle the bits that some of us would like to tackle first, because you're not affected by the brutality towards the minorities. You might be affected by the next stage up, just brutality to everyone. Brutality to everyone, yeah. I've been arrested and dragged about and got the shit kicked out of me, but it wasn't because I was white. It's because a rugby bar's run out of the way. Do you know what I mean? So if the world can't even get on board and get together in tackling the very bottom foundation of the systemic problems, how the hell are we ever going to come together to tackle the top of it? It's just not. All this all lives matter bullshit and to Black Lives Matter, and it's like, well, bro, do you understand that all bears in the world matter? Like, but polar bears are in trouble. They need help more than brown bears do. And brown bears are doing pretty well in North America, but the polar bears ain't doing so well. It's not fucking hard to realise we're tackling a systemic problem. It's Nelson, bro. The fucking might be me. When we're keeping such open minds, you have to be open to the possibility that those at the top, they are actually reptilian, man. Like the interdimensional entities. Could be anything, mate. Could be anything. Could be demons. Who knows? But until we tackle the bottom and start getting it falling down and start getting it crumbling and realise who inside the pyramid and system is actually a good person and has been trying to drag it down all along, and who's fake as fuck and actually just propping it up while they're looking like they're trying to pull it down, but they're actually holding it up. Looks like they're trying to pull it down, but they're holding it up. Bastard. They're the ones we need out. Base of the pyramid is basically just the propaganda, the divide. We get past the racial divides, and I do believe, again, that the biggest divide in the planet is class. It's not race, but there is a racial divide in certain areas and within certain people. And racism itself has it's evolved. The definition of racism has evolved. For the people that will say racist words, you're black, or you're nasty word for an Asian, any word like that, behind closed doors, and believe they're not racist, right? They're simply in their head not subscribing to the new definition of racism, where it's to, if you just emotionally hurt or you degrade or you discriminate against anyone of another race for any reason, but simply they're a different race, a different colour of the skin. That's a new definition of racism. The old definition of racism was I think my race is superior to yours. We're superior. We're white, we're superior. It wasn't like name calling and bullying and all that. That's how it's evolved. It was simply just superior to you. Some people are that fucking ignorant in the red. Calling someone a black bastard is no different than calling someone a fat bastard. But to the person that's been called it, he's gonna give that. You don't say that. You don't just calling a fat person a fat bastard into the face. You know what I mean? But people's acting like in their head, them terms are the same. And I'm sorry, but they're not. They're just fucking not. There's some people out there at the moment that are racist when they don't even believe they are. So again, if that came back to voting, what would the actual consensus be? It's got to start with education. It's got to start with education, and we all know that the what do they call it? The curriculum. The curriculum. Follow this, or you fucking failed. Well, no, you failed me. I'm English. You can barely speak fucking English, mate. I think you failed me. Don't start giving me that shibizzle. Is it racist to call them little green men? I don't know, mate. Consensus focus on arranged marriages. Exactly. There's a good one. That's a great one, Steve. Where would that go? Hey? Where's that ending up? What's everyone voting? I don't want to generalize, but regarding Asian communities who in the past have been quite big on arranged marriages and that, there's a lot of people in Asia, 2 billion in just, there's over 2.5 billion to 3 billion in just India and China. Extremely interesting. I would love to know what China would truly vote consensus wise to change the way they live, because we all know how many, we all know a lot of Chinese people use Tor and all that stuff to hide their IP addresses and to use YouTube and to use Facebook and to use social media that they shouldn't be on. We know that they do it. So how many of them under the UN intervening would actually be like, yeah, we don't want to live like this, we want to live how our youth live, we want to live in this democracy thing, yeah, I want to vote, I want to dictate how this country's run, boom, 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 boom. And all of a sudden you just got over 1 billion people just getting the phone out and going, boom, boom. We want to talk about social experiments. Do you know what I mean? Like, give them the social score. They've got the social score and all that coming at the moment now, haven't they? How much do we actually know about how China live? Do you know what I mean? Racism is just another expression of intolerance and difference, ego and control, well put naked. It's going to take a long time to get rid of it, I think, if ever. I think it'll always exist in certain areas. It's about separating. It's about finding out who's actually a racist bastard and putting them in their own little. You go over there with the rest of the racist bastards and stay there, mate, or you've got problems. Tag me in something on Twitter. Western Union is offering 0 transfer fee when sending money directly to bank accounts in Brazil from now through June. Send money abroad from the UK. Interesting. Daryl Davis has spent time briefing members of the Ku Klux Klan. Says 200 Klansmen have given up their robes after talking with him. Yo, Scott. Hold up. Sorry, Craig. I'm just gonna bounce to that. I want to know who he is. Daryl Davis. That's pretty epic if you've done that. The black musician who converts Ku Klux Klan members. 18th of March, sorry, Twitter, the Guardian. He's in the Guardian. Oh, I've seen him. I've seen him. I didn't know the name. Name didn't even ring a bell. It will now, though. Will next time. I've seen him before. There he is, guys. What a guy, mate. Oh, what? The black musician. The musician who converts Ku Klux Klan members. It's like that word's got to go. You want racism to go. Get rid of that word there. He's just the musician that converts Ku Klux Klan members. After an encounter with a KKK member in the 1980s, a compass turns his focus to curing racism through education. Darrell Davis is a musician, a pianist to be exact. He's jammed with the likes of Chuck Berry, Jerry Lee Lewis, B.B. King, and even Bill Clinton. Loyal to music, but not the genre. Plays jazz, blues, rock and rolls, country, boogie woo, yes, swing, big band and beyond. No matter the music style, Davis will play it because he believes that music in all variations is a great equalizer. So near the Silver Dog Lads, Davis was approached by a patron who was found 15 years senior. Yo, so he's done it through music then, Anna. Rah, so he's, yeah, this guy heard him saying it, rah, he's approached him. He said, I've never seen a black man that could play like Jerry Lee Lewis. More curious and offended, Davis used his encounter as an opportunity to friendly discourse rather than outrage. Explained to the older white guy that Jerry Lee Lewis was influenced by the same black boogie woogie and blues piano player as I was. He didn't believe me and told him he was a good friend of mine. He didn't believe that either, but he was fascinated. Let's join him for the drink. Right, this guy's ill, isn't he? Yo! Derobing the haters, man. Rah. Rah. Stop saying rah, Scott. That's when I'm extremely amazed. Like, it just comes out. 16-year-old me, that, like, rah. That's pretty epic. Thanks for that shout, Scott. I'm going to look more into that. 200 members giving up the robes. Zero transfer fee to Brazil. They did, Craig Ripple the central bank of Brazil on it. Yeah, Carl, I think we're living in a time where the racist jokes, I think they're going to have to go, aren't they? They've got to go. My perspective, I shouldn't even be hearing the N-word in a rap song. I don't care what colour he is. I don't want Sebastian hearing that on a radio or TV, someone else's phone. You shouldn't be hearing it. You want that word to disappear. People need to stop saying it. Do you know what I mean? And again, like the transgender jokes and woman jokes. There's a guy's just been sacked off the Flash for tweets he did 8 years ago, tweeting about like jokes about women, and I think he did a few gay ones, did a few black jokes and that. Might have fucking, some people might have felt it was okay in the 80s and 90s, so people still laugh. And you can say what you want about Chris Rock and his performances and that, and like Chris Rock's words, he says there's black people and there's, yeah, so it's like, is that a little bit of the internal systemic racism people talk about when it's on the surface it's okay, but deep down it's really not okay? It's a tough one, especially when it comes to comedy, man. Should be married by now. You can't get married pre-moon, bruh. You're crazy. You can't get married at this time pre-moon. Gotta wait. I got tired chasing women, mate. And trying to find the one that fit with me. I'm just waiting for her now. She'll come along eventually. Arranged marriage with holy moly. As far as Rupert's told me at the moment, I'm only interested in females. It's not stood up to a man yet. Yeah. People are like, some men scared of that happening, aren't they? I think almost everyone's bisexual deep down, me. You just like go outside, let a guy tickle your balls, Carl. See if he stands up, mate. Go and be honest with yourself, lad. Go and see if you're bisexual. Oh, 2-year-old Alan, little terrible twos, mate. Won't be long and they'll be calming down a little bit, mate. Getting a bit more vocal. But I've not got kids, but seen it happen. Won't start attacking me. You don't understand. I haven't got kids. Morning, Richard. Good to see you. Yeah, joke is a joke, but to some people, what's funny to one person is extremely emotionally painful to another person. It's a fine line, and again, what would the global consensus be of making some jokes illegal? Is that a future we're moving into? What make jokes illegal? Someone presents that to Parliament. Parliament's like, okay, someone's presented this. Should we make these kind of jokes? It's interesting. Actually, naked, negro is black in Spanish. You want to know where the word came from, mate? Negro man, black man. That's where it came from. So regardless of anything up from then, that word still exists as black in Spanish. Don't tell me my head's not just lied to me. I've got to go and fucking check it now. Questioning myself too much this morning. It's because I don't know whether I've spelt it and said it right, and I don't want to be attacked. Yeah. Negro denotes black in Spanish and Portuguese, derived from the Latin word. I'm not saying that. What, Nige? That's flipped in it, but Negro. They actually say it Negro, don't they? It's not Negro, it's Negro. Black in Spanish. But Nigger. And I understand that it's said between the boys with an A on the end. And it's a little different than that. But when Sebastian hears it, it's all the same. It's all the same when Sebastian hears it. He's 6 years old, little white kid, don't know no better. He hears it, it's all the same. Yeah, it's right, Carl, innit? You can be stood there at times thinking like, yo, there's a little, nah, not right. Not the time, not the place for that joke, bro. Really not the time, not the place for that joke, bro. It's like, would you tell a cancer joke if someone in your family you love just died of cancer in the bed, would you just pop out a cancer joke? No? Would you fuck? Do you know what I mean? There's a time and a place for certain jokes. It's yeah, it's a weird one. Make sex illegal. Krypton in Man of Steel. They won't have biological babies in Krypton. Sex might have been illegal. And Jor-El and Lara's got it on and made little Kal-El. Yeah, Diesel. That's what I mean. It's intention. Scott is a massive, massive thing. Yeah, Tupac Shakur, like he was amazing. Tupac. Have you seen the interview with him when he's talking about? I think this is why he got killed. Me, the interview with Tupac. I think Tupac could have changed the world. He'd have changed the black community. The black community would be a hell of a lot different now if Tupac was still alive. Try and get this little bit of interview up.
Invest as little as £1 in the world's
Invest as little as £1.
With trading 212.
Talks Trump and greed. He was 1992. 4 years before they killed him.
And when I say this world, I mean it. I don't mean in the ideas. I mean in every day, every little thing you do. It's such a gimme.
Love or hate him. Listen to the.
You know, everybody's like, you taught that from school, everywhere. Big business. If you want to be successful, you want to be like Trump. Gimme. Push. Step. Crush. That's how it all is. And it's like, nobody ever stopped. Just, you know, I feel like instead of us just being like, slavery's bad, bad whitey. I mean, all right, let's stop that. And everybody's smart enough to know that, I mean, we've been slighted. And we want ours. And I don't mean by like ours, 40 acres and a mule, because we're past that. But we need help. I mean, for us to be on our own 2 feet, us meaning youth or us meaning black people, whatever you want to take it for us to be on our own 2 feet, we do need help. Because we have been here. We have been a good friend. If you want to make it a relationship type thing, we have been there. And now we deserve our payback. It's like you got a friend that you don't never look out for. You know, you dressed up in jewels. Now America's got jewels and they paid and everything. And they lending money to everybody except us. And it's like, you know, everybody need a little help on their way to being, you know, self-reliant. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole thing about the album, about the Special Olympics. Everybody need a little something and they to be independent. No independent person just grew up and was born independent. You worked and you learned teamwork and you learned cooperation and unity and struggle, and then you became independent. And we have to teach that and instill that. And why is it that they want to do that? I mean, if this is truly a melting pot in the country where we care about it, and Lady Liberty got a hand like this, she really loves us, then we really need to be like that. And it needs to be the black kids. If there's a white person who got money, then you need to help them. You need to help black kids, Mexican kids, Korean kids, whatever. But it needs to be real. And it needs to be before we all die, and then you say, oh, I made a mistake. We should have gave them some money. We really should have helped these folks. It's going to be too late. You know what I'm saying? And then that's when you got to pay your own karma. And that's when God make you punish. When God punishes you. Because I feel like, you know, it's too much money here. I mean, nobody should be hitting lotto for 36 million and we got people starving in the streets. That is not idealistic. That's just real. That is just stupid. There's no way Michael Jackson should have, or whoever Jackson, should have $1 million, $1 billion, and then there's people starving. There's no way. There's no way that these people should own planes and their people don't have houses, apartments, shacks, drawers, pants. If they earned it, then I think that's good. And I think that they deserve it. But even if you earned it, you still owe. Because look at me, I don't have that mega money, but I feel guilty walking by somebody. I got to give them some mail. And if I know I got $3,000 in my pocket, I feel like it's wrong to give that person a quarter or $1. It's wrong. Only you know what you got in your pocket. And that's wrong. No matter what they do, if they take it and drink it, they take it and drink it. But, I mean, you got. You understand? We all know how hard it is, and it's not about if you good or you bad. So since it's not about if you good or you bad, we know that because he don't got don't mean he was bad. Or don't mean he's a criminal, or don't mean he's crazy, or a drug addict, or none of that. It just means he don't got. And ain't it bad that you got 30? I mean, can you imagine somebody having $32 million? $32 million. And this person has nothing, and you can sleep. You can still go to the movies about, I mean, and then these are the type of people that get humanitarian awards. Millionaires. How can they be humanitarians? By the fact that they millionaires and there's so many poor people shows how unhumane they are. You know what I'm saying? And that bugs me. Not saying that I'm never going to be rich, and you know what I'm saying? But I'm saying it's a struggle, and I think everybody deserves. And I think there's a way to pay these people. I think there is a way. It just takes to be revolutionary. And it takes to do something out of the ordinary. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that if we just said, okay, I got an idea. kids. You know what I'm saying? Let's build houses. Or no more polo games. Let's build houses for poor people. You know what I'm saying? Or look, okay, I know you're rich. I know you got $40 billion, but can you just keep it to one house? You only need one house. And if you only got 2 kids, can you just keep it to 2 rooms? I mean, why have 52 rooms and you know there's somebody with no room? It just don't make sense to me. It don't. And then these people celebrate Christmas. They got big trees, huge trees, all the little trimmings. Everybody got gifts, and then somebody's starving. And they're having a white Christmas. They're having a great Christmas, eggnog and the whole nine. That's not fair to me.
He asked me, he was killed, murdered by the fucking system. I don't care what anyone says. The guy was an absolute fucking G. Saw the problems even way before they existed. No real internet. Imagine what he'd say about the internet now. What would he be saying now about all these billionaires and that? He's only talking millions there. There weren't that many billionaires back then, not in the public light. What would his opinion be now? Do you know what I mean? The way he could empower. I mean, Kanye West, mate. Ooh, he's a bit of a loon, Kanye, you know. Bit crazy. His terminology's key, guys. Terminology's key. If you're gonna say something, make sure you get it across properly. It's about a certain thing. Kanye defo should have fucking thought about what he was saying. That slavery's a choice comment, that didn't go down very well at all, did it? And I know what he meant, I know what he was getting at, but still, you don't fucking say that. Like, the way it was said, it was... They made a choice to fight in a way they fought. Like, they fought for the... It's fucking hanging to think what people did back in the day just to survive, just for the name and their fucking DNA carried on. Do you know what I mean? Just to get a name at times. Fuck. Do you know what I hate? What I've been thinking lately is how much racism there is in the world, but everyone loves a film like Gran Torino. For some reason, everyone's like, "Oh, seen that film? Remember the Titans? Fucking great film. Fucking great film." Yeah, but if these films are so fucking good, why is there still so much racism? Like, surely if people actually truly believed in their movies, they'd believe in the message of the movies. You know what I'm saying? Like Coach Carter. Even like Gridiron Gang, the criminal one. It's like, people can change. And now that guy in The Flash, he's having tweets dragged up since 8 years ago. With what we've mentioned on here today, it wouldn't really be that hard to crip and crop a video of me from this looking like an absolute fucking wanker, would it? Do you know what I mean? If you cropped it the right way and cut certain things out, everyone would be like, "What was he saying in that stream? What was he saying in that stream, mate?" Well, we're just being open-minded and like how people should be. Like, it's... People scared of having conversations these days, and that's pretty fucking bad. Supposed to live in a free world. Well, if you're scared of having a conversation, you're not free. You're not a free person. You're not a free human if you're scared of saying certain things. Naked, I feel it is. You know what what I've said in recent years, Naked? I'd like to get in a position where if I do have a kid in my 40s, I'd like to be in a position where they can be homeschooled, and I'd give them the British curriculum, probably Spanish, American, and an Asian, and then they'd get my curriculum after all that, on how I see the world, and then they get told to question absolutely everything. It's like with your kids now, innit? You know, like if you start questioning, if you go to be an Egyptologist in uni at the moment, and you start questioning the age of the Sphinx and all that, like people are openly questioning it, saying it's older than it should be, the water erosion and all that shit. You have to conform to that curriculum and get the A they want you to get that qualification. You can't really question it while you're in uni because you'll fail. Whether you think you're right or wrong, whether you are right in the long run or not, you have to pass their curriculum. So when you get the piece of paper and you become the professor yourself, you've got the PhD, MD, whatever you get, you can then question anything and everything. We've all got our thoughts on the schooling system and university and all that, but to get certain jobs, you're going to have to go there. You ain't being a surgeon if you ain't been uni. You can build a company and be a CEO of a brand without going uni, but you can also go uni, do a business course, waste a load of time on it, and then try and build a brand. You need to go to university for some shit. Can't give a kid DMT. They're doing it in the Amazon. Has anyone seen the football gangs coming out to fight Antifa? Squatters are going to protect the statues in London. They're mobilising to protect the country. Interesting. I've not been. What's that on? What news outlet? Can I get it up on anything? Don't fuck with the football hooligans. They're usually the one. They probably, do you know what? They're probably just pissed off there's been no football match and no scrap for a while. They're thinking, fuck it, let's go and have a rumble. Let's go meet Chelsea. Let's go meet Chelsea at that Antifa rally and kick the shit out of everyone. Yeah, Craig, Millwall. Let's go meet Chelsea or fuck it. Is it actually Millwall? Tell me it's not Millwall. I had Millwall in my head then, that's why I say. No way. Stop it. Stop it. I'm not surprised if it's Millwall and Chelsea together. So these are like pandemics and Antifa and that, bringing communities that hate each other together. It's interesting. It's interesting. They're the ones, you know, everyone hates the football hooligans. Here's an interesting fact. Everyone hates the football hooligans, right? But, you know, in the Civil War, they're the front line of your militia, mate. In the UK, obviously in America, it might be a little different with how many weapons you've all got and all that and all the guns. But in the UK, the way we fight and the way we riot and that, those hooligans, mate, they are the front line of our militia if it ever proper goes off. With any squaddies that take the people's side as well. Interesting to see what would happen if that ever happened. Very interesting to see. You just bored them and want to start some shit. Could well be, mate. Could well be. Well, this is what it looks like, doesn't it, Steve Willits? It looks like a lot of police have been it looks like the police have been starting some of the riots. Oh, I can't get that up on here. It's on your Twitter. Sweet. Oh, do you know what, Twitter? Worse than Google, man. How far down? Tweets and replies. Bob Hammond. Message to Antifa vermin. We are among you next Saturday. We will even look like you. Interesting. So what's that for this Saturday? So this Saturday, Antifa going out on Saturday, and Millwall are going out with them to make sure they don't fuck about. Right. Let's break it down. Let's break it down for the ones who are not from the UK and don't really understand what's going on. So you've got a load of Antifa Muppets. Got a load of Antifa Muppets who are getting paid to go and protest and cause damage. Yeah, you just get a little money sent to your bank off Mr. Soros, or put in your PayPal and all that. Yeah, we all know the dance. So they get paid to turn up, these little gimps, and they're actually going to be stood with people who fight for a hobby, people who kick fuck out of mates for shits and giggles. Do you know what I mean? People's like, yo, John, we're meeting there on Friday. I'm going to kick the shit out of you. Yeah, you think, bro. You think. And then they turn up and legitimately try and annihilate each other for shits and giggles. The you won't know what's hitting him. You won't know what's hitting, mate. The Antifa guy will be like that, causing shit, and out of nowhere there'll just be a Millwall fist there as one comes there, and he's just going to be like, and he's just going to be gone for about 10 minutes. And all his mates are going to look round like that, and then another one's just they're just going to get done in, mate. I might actually go down and record it on the fucking slow-mo time lapse. Oh, that'll be sick. It will be funny though, like, they've got nothing. Yeah. That'll be an interesting watch, that. I'm surprised if they don't even go now. Planned protests, it was send the money back, like, all going on PayPal now, like reverse transaction. I want none of that. I want no Millwall shit, bro. I want none of Millwall, mate. Cancel transaction, I'm out. Fuck that. Well, I don't even know what I did. I'd need to replay it. It was just an off the cuff sound. Go off event. That's what I mean, B. If it ever goes off, it'll be all them at the forefront. 100%. They'll be the front line then. Do people think it'll ever get that bad that the lights of the UK or America or anything like that will be in official civil war, like actually descending back into a civil war, or do people think we're past that kind of stuff? That was it. Used to make sick sound effects, me, mate. Everyone always wanted me on the army team because my sound effects were the better. I couldn't do my gun the other day though. Mouth was too dry. Do a good machine gun, me. Oh, obviously, it's the main narrative in it. Anyone who stands out of like proud to be British and that, you just racist. You're labelled as racist. It's like I said the other week. It's not when people say they're proud to be British. They're not proud of what they did from like the flaming 1300s onwards, whatever it was, colonization of the whole flaming globe. Not proud of that. Not proud of what they did in India and all the other Commonwealths and our part in what happened to the Native Americans. And it wasn't just the British, it was heavily influenced by Europe, Spanish, French, Italians, a lot. It wasn't just the British, considering the white people. But we're not proud of a lot of shit that happened back in the day. We're trying to be proud, and are usually proud of what's happened since. Giving the independence back to India, proud of that. Okay, America fought for it, so you can't really be proud of losing a battle. But giving it back to Hong Kong recently, could be proud of that. Getting rid of slavery before anyone else, proud of that. Do you know what I mean? So it's not that we're proud of what we did or didn't do at a certain time. It's proud of what we've done since then. How we can create computers and stuff, industrial revolutions and shit like that. We're proud of what's happened. And it's not like there was nothing that's happened in the last 200 years that we're not proud of. It's a weird one, pride. Weird one. Treating people equal is a weird one when it comes to justice and that, innit? That's what I'm always thinking at the moment. People call for someone's head and all that. Oh, he should be killed in for doing that. And it's like, well, would you say that if it was your brother did it? If your brother did that, would you say he should be killed? You're gonna take your brother in to get killed, or your son, or your dad, or your sister, your wife? Would you feel the same if that person did it? Is it the same kind of justice? That's true justice. What would you do to your own family? Whatever you do to your own family is what you should do to other people. That's proper justice. You shouldn't be instilling a justice on someone that you won't put on yourself or your own loved ones. Pallets of bricks left everywhere, Steve. Me. Don't need a PhD in construction to know that ain't right. So again, Alan, proud to be Australian. Like, everyone be like, oh, fucking country of criminals. Should we be proud of the people we sent to Australia? Or should we be proud of what them people built in Australia? Again, with the Aborigines ain't going to be proud. And the white Australians are going to be like, well, we're actually proud of where our ancestors have come since being sent here and that. Who's really at fault? Do you know what I mean? Was anyone at fault? Is the world not just everyone's? Get Native Americans moved on and all that is absolutely horrific. The Trail of Tears and stuff like that. And you read stories like that of how they was uprooted, moved, unprepared, ill prepared for it. Most people died and that. That's regardless of all the wars and battles. It's a tough one, isn't it? What should anyone be proud of? Told pride to sit. Burning hell for pride, apparently. It's like, I can't subscribe to that book just because if you lie, you've sinned. If you're proud, you've sinned. Get a little greedy at tea time. If you sinned, go to hell. Honestly, I think when we get to an autonomous world, I actually think it'd do well if people learnt for longer. You had a curriculum that went up to like 20, 21 years old, where you learn. But you learnt in your own country till you was like 16, 18. And then you learn about other countries and get to travel. And we really, really do need to bring spirituality back into the education system and into to get people respecting nature properly. Spirituality. It's not that everyone's gonna blast DMT, get a little bit spiritual and respect the world the way a vegan does, but they're gonna respect it a lot more than they would have. Do you know what I mean? That line came from the convicts. All those years ago, didn't commit a crime, I won't be here. Exactly, man. It's crazy, isn't it, Alan? What kind of criminals did they send? Like, not that I'm trying to, like, say you guy good or bad or anything. Like, back in them days, mate, it was fucking everyone for themselves, pretty much, what it? You could have been forgiven for taking a fucking soldier's head off, but you'd have still lost your own head. People would have been like, yeah, it was just, like Robin Hood kind of thing, innit? Do you know what I mean? So the majority of convicts were transported just for petty crimes. More serious crimes became transportable offences in the 1830s, but since they're also punishable by death, comparatively few convicts and criminals were ever transported for such crimes. It was mostly petty crime, just getting petty criminals away from Britain. Then won it basically. Fuck him off, thief, fucking thief. He's robbed some cabbages. Fuck him off to Australia. He's robbed me carrots. Get him to Australia. He's robbing carrots last night. The bastard. Like, what other... There can't be many more petty crimes back then, surely. I'm talking like how many laws with it, like, for petty crimes to be broken, except for really theft. Do you know what I mean? List of convicts. Oh, shit. What? Mate, are we going to find your ancestor here, Alan? Going to find your ancestor. Davis, Donahue, Duperousal, Dwyer. How would you say that? D-W-Y-E-R, Dwyer. Michael Dwyer. Dwyer. Anyhow. Right, it's got... Jack Donahue, 1804 to 1830, Irish bushranger, was transported to New South Wales for intent to commit a felony. Hasn't done anything, just intended to. That's Minority Report shit. But back in the 1800s, you're being charged for the future felony that you intend to commit, you motherfucker. Now get to Australia. What? That's madness. Imagine they had... Would that still have happened under consensus? If they'd have voted between the English people, what should we do with the criminals? Should we lock them up in this new prison system that we're going to build? Should we kill them all? Or should we send them to another country there where you can just get them away from us? Exactly, Chad. Proud to be an American, and it doesn't mean that you're proud of all of America's past. It can be certain aspects of America, not only the way your family and ancestors lived, but the way you now live and the way that history has molded you into the person you are. And if you know in your heart you're a kind, honest, decent, genuine person because of that past, you're damn right you should be proud of it. You just should, regardless of race, colour and creed. It's... We're all taught not to be proud for some reason. Told it's a fucking sin. It's not. It shouldn't be a sin. It's not right that feeling of pride for a family member that's achieved or something. Never mind for just yourself. Spirituality, not religion. That is massive. Naked. That is mass. That's why I said spirituality, not religion. because it is more nature and Gaia that we should be worshipping rather than interdimensional beings that we're a part of anyway. It's the physical that we should worship while we're here. We shouldn't worship where we come from while we're here. We worship the place we've come to. We're the keepers of the garden. We're supposed to be respecting it, supposed to be looking after it. Steve Willits, nice. Yeah, the media will make you feel guilty for having any kind of pride. And what they'll do is, like I pointed out with the British people, they'll bring out what happened mostly before the 1800s. And again, not that we didn't do bad shit post 1800s, but from the start of abolishing slavery, the fact that we've recently found out we all paid for it as well, the bastards, would that have passed consensus if everyone knew that? I don't think so. But again, it's what we've done since then, abolishing slavery, giving countries their independence back, helping the Industrial Revolution, innovating in technologies. There is stuff to be proud of, 100%. And they will alienate you for being proud by bringing up the bad shit from the past. Oh, you colonised everyone, you had an hand in slavery. Right, yeah, we had an hand in slavery. Can we move to the point that we was the first to abolish it? But you still got racism, right? Some of us are still trying to fight it. Do you know what I mean? It's always the media shit, wooden spoon media, innit? Wooden spoon, stirring the shit. Always stirring the shit with a wooden spoon. Or they want you to lose your identity up until voting day, and then they just want you to be a sheep. Matrix, boo. Matrix, there is no spoon. There is no spoon. There is no gender. There is no gender anymore. There's just sex of a species, bisexual organs. There is no gender. There's no gender roles anymore. There is within some. Is it misogynist? Is that misogynistic to assume the female run the household? Is that what it is? Misogynistic? Because that doesn't exist in many men, although it does still exist in some. Some will expect the women to do certain roles and certain this, that, and that. But as a woman, how many jobs do you feel you can't go for? Are there any jobs you can't do because you're a woman that specifically required a man? And we don't mean men's sports that also have female sports, because you can do that job too. Like, what job do only men do still? Like, not many men expect a woman to be at home. Most men expect women to have a job now, to be working. Now we can go wage gaps and all that, man to woman, but you're talking the sex of the being, the sex of the animal, the species, bisexual organ. It's not gender anymore. Not in my head. It literally only exists in the media context to try and divide us. Madness, Alan. What would the national consensus be on removing Christmas trees? They stopped selling Christmas trees at shopping complex called Big W here. Who instigated that? Now, if it's the owner of the business, it's pathetic. But if it's someone above him who's told and it's more shops, then who's given the rights? Like, I want to buy a Christmas tree. Someone sell me a Christmas tree. Like, the system shouldn't be stopping the sale of Christmas trees. If one corporation and store chooses to stop the sale of Christmas trees, then that's their prerogative, innit? And they can lose or gain custom through that. But if the system starts trying to say you can't sell Christmas trees, again, shouldn't it be a consensus? Shouldn't it be voted for? What implications are there for being proud part of your country? It's basically, boo, you'll get attacked by the negative aspects. They'll completely let all the positive that's happened in the last 100 to 200 years go over the red, and they'll talk about shit that happened in 1650 and all that kind of bullshit. Do you know what I mean? It's madness. Cross-dressing. Picture of me on Facebook in a dress, I think. Props for anyone who finds that. No danger, Scott Kemp. It is, mate. It is. All this talk of it went a bit deep. Went a bit deep. I just think like what needs to be done to actually start like fundamental change in the system that we all know is corrupt. You're raised by kids while the mother's a party adder, like a take teenage or the world's changing. Couldn't agree more, Alan. It's changing fast as well, innit? Do you know what I mean? Like changing really fast. Not allowed. Fucking hell, nearly choked on my own breath then. Not allowed to use the word Christmas. Says who? This is what I'm getting at. Says who? Did the Muslim community even actually come out and said, look, that's offending me? Or is this just media bullshit to cause a divide, to make some people be like, you got no Christmas tree because of you fucking... Do you know what I mean? What the fuck's it? Who's even said it's offensive? You said we can't use that word. Happy holidays instead of happy Christmas and this. It's a weird one. Who there? Happy holidays. Who says who? Where's the where? I've not been asked. If it offends me. Who's been asked? Like, who's even been asked? Scott, it's exactly what I'm trying to break down a little bit now, mate. What will be the catalyst? Is it these riots and possible outbreak of civil war and martial law all over the gaff, and then we actually start voting for a new democracy from our homes? They're not going to let it happen. How do you stop that mentality? How do you stop? It's just the way it is. They're not going to let it happen. They'll never let that happen. How do we flip that perspective to, yeah, we can actually force it to happen? Yeah, we can force it to happen. So it's Muslim spokespeople. Again, it'd be interesting to see an actual consensus, a transparent consensus that was legitimate, incorruptible, immutable. Do you know what I mean? Oh, I've got an article here of why Muslims don't celebrate Christmas but can still enjoy seeing others happy during the festive time. Ooh. December the 29th, 2017, when a Muslim celebrating Christmas causes angst. It's no wonder we think we can't win. a Tesco Christmas advert which featured briefly for literally 2 seconds a Muslim family. And it follows a campaign to boycott Tesco by those who claim they had disrespected their Christian faith. What? It's weird, isn't it? Because like I keep trying to, they're not the same religion, but just with different gods as well. And I don't want to offend any Christians or Catholics in who were watching the stream or anything like that. But at the end of the day, Jesus is in the Quran. The Archangel Gabriel is in the Quran. Visits Muhammad in the cave. It's like it's basically the same religion. I think it's media propaganda mostly, guys, when it's all that kind of shit. No one was asked. Just some dick who's got attention. This is why attention's so valuable. Whoever's got the attention at the time, and then BBC and all the other mainstream media picks up that little bit of attention off that one person who's speaking on a street somewhere in London and is apparently speaking for all the UK Muslims. It's just not right. It's yeah. How do we change it? How do we change it? Like we're saying, naked, about these bricks. Like, St. George's Day's flags being banned, are they? We still put ours up there. Who said the banned? Because we still put ours up. My mum paints on St. George's Day and V-Day. My mum like had the flags out. My mum still puts the flags up. It's who said we can't? Do you know what I mean? Muhammad's first revelation was an event described in Islam as taking place in 610 AC, which during the Islamic prophet Muhammad was visited by angel Jibril, known as Gabriel in English, who led him to the beginnings of what would later become the Quran. Gabriel led Muhammad to write the Quran. It's the same religion, written in a different language in a different place by different people. But it's got the same angels, the same deities, but with different names, like as if Yahweh is Allah. Do you know what I mean? So it's... Luckily, Scott, people still got it in the area. We'll just go to CBD online if it proper runs out, won't we, mate? Don't forget, bro, some of the meds are legal now. Well, I said it the other day. If I have a kid, I don't really want them learning about Christianity. No one will. Or I don't want them learning about Christianity, and I don't really want Christianity around them. I'll teach them about Jesus, not you. No one will really be bothered about that. If I said the same about Islam, I don't want Islam around him. I don't want him being taught about Muslims at school and that. I'll teach him about it with online scriptures and stuff. People would probably have a problem with that, but it's just two different religions. It's like if you say you don't like Islam, you don't subscribe to it, and that, you're apparently racist. It's not a race. It's a belief system. It's a faith. It's interesting. The PC Brigade's twisted everything up, aren't they? They're all the same stories taken from the same place. See, Friday, they're just written by, like I say, different people, different languages. Again, Alan, that should be done on an app by consensus. the people want to celebrate Australia Day. Do you know what I mean? It's would it not be better, like, instead of removing all these remembrance of certain things, like remembrance of this, remembrance of, like, Columbus Day. A lot of people, like, got problems and the subscriptions and opinions of that. Instead of removing all these different days, would it not be better to introduce new days for other things and other people in remembrance of what certain people went through, and leaving certain things up as a reminder of a past that we don't want to go back to? Should you remove a statue off the street and put it in a museum, or do you make the street the museum? It's an interesting one, isn't it? Especially when you consider, like, the Confederate generals and stuff in America. Should they become museums instead of being taken down and put in museums? You've changed the Australian anthem. The previous wasn't racist at all. Clue. What? There's too much of this happens and that happens, and they're doing this, they're doing that, when no one's really asked. This is what I mean. They're supposed to rule for us, not rule us. They're not supposed to just rule us indefinitely, directly, with their own fucking opinions and how they think it should be done. They're supposed to rule for us, asking us how we want it to be done. That's a true democracy. You imagine a Roman emperor coming in front of the citadel, and all the people are in front of him, and he goes like, right, we're going to do this, or we're going to do that. If you want this to happen, raise your right hand, and they do a count. If you want that to happen, raise your left hand, they do a count. And whatever the consensus is, there's your democracy. Democracy through consensus. Now, when your empire spreads out, and your central hub hasn't got the information as fast as it needs it, it's not got access to it and all that, it starts dwindling. That's why empires fail to get so big, especially the British one. It failed to hold it all because the Queen was pretty much always in the UK, and it's hard to subscribe to a monarch that you very rarely see, or an emperor you very rarely see. Do you know what I mean? You've just got soldiers coming up. That's when the lords are getting power. Do you know what I mean? What we talked about before. But we need to go back to a proper democracy through consensus. It's time the people were asked how they want to be ruled, how they want the laws set, how they want the local communities governed, as well as the grander community nationally, as well as globally. Seriously, like Tupac was saying, there's people starving while there's billionaires. He was going on about low numbers back then compared to now. 32 million on the lottery and shit. We're in the 300 millions on the lottery now. We're in billionaires on corporations, not multimillionaires like Pat was talking about. What would his thoughts be now? It'd be like me, they need to be taxed more. They shouldn't be making that much money. And they definitely shouldn't be getting humanitarian fucking award, Bill Gates. Pat calling out Bill Gates back then, 1992. It's still happening now. It's unbelievable. How do we change it? You've got to wake the general populace that are programmed to just believe the narrative and to just be directed by the shepherd. They're basically sheep, and we need to wake most of them up. Got no idea, Steve, about the halal stuff. As far as I'm aware, it's similar to how we do it, but they just say prayers and that. I think the slaughtering of animals is a little different. They don't stun them, but again, I don't know it because I could have just read a bit of propaganda. I'm uneducated on the halal and how that's done, to be honest. What I mean, naked? Would you find segregated communities? Would you find people swapping houses and swapping areas? Because they finally actually live in an area that they don't want to live in. They're living around people that they don't agree with. And yet there's a community up north that they completely agree with, that they'd probably love to live in. And there's another person who'd like to come the other way. Just going to swap houses. Would it just not be just agreeable to just go, yo, I'll move up there because I'm going to get on with them well more, and you move down here, and we keep ourselves to ourselves? That question that sounds extremely racist when it's put to you a certain way. But when you think about it, some people do live in a way that you don't want to live, and you live in a way that they don't want to live. So is it not better to just live apart? You can still trade with each other, still transact with each other, still communicate with each other through the internet, but you don't live right next to each other. Notorious! Thanks, pal. Appreciate it, and it's great to see you in the stream. We'll be winding it down very soon. You subscribe to the absolute, Alan, the collective consciousness, the eternal being on the other side that creates this physical hologram we live in through consciousness. Like, do you subscribe to that? We might need to do a trip to Costa Rica or Amsterdam or something. Go on a little ayahuasca visit. Just great to open your mind if you do the right research on it and you go in it with the right mindset, whether it's DMT or ayahuasca. I've not had ayahuasca. Done a lot of research on it though. I know it's not quite the blast DMT is, but it's more prolonged and you can retain the information better. But I don't believe in the God that's in the book, Alan. I believe there's something there that we're all attached to. And the way it speaks in that book, it kind of gets some of it right. The way it talks about him pulling himself apart to create his angels and that a piece of him creates us in his image, but really we're just angels, the same as a piece of that collective consciousness. This is a universal hologram that even the CIA subscribe to and agree with. Consensus is how it's got to change, Steve. But yeah, Alan, mate, do you just believe you shut off when you die? You don't go anywhere. Boo. Keep kicking myself about not doing this chat, that end of life phenomenon, because I need to get the video up. So I've got somewhere I can send them now about end of life phenomenon. Karma's real. I feel the flow of the force. Karma's paying me back for. So if you look into the samsara cycle and all that, mate, that and karma cycle, that's got beings and entities in other realms, right? Yeah, you go and meet. You can go and meet them. Yeah, this is why I don't subscribe to burning in hell for eternity, and I subscribe to the samsara cycle, where you'll descend if you've got negative karma. So when you're balanced on the scales, if your bad karma is heavier than your good karma, you're going to descend until you burn that bad karma off, and then you reascend and you try and gather good karma again. Yeah, I do subscribe to the samsara cycle myself, mostly. I'm not saying I'm all out Buddhist and I'm an actual Buddhist. If you just try and get happy, Alan, and radiate positive energy as much as you can, and try and influence other people, because there's attention and intention in there. So with your internal energies, you can intend to do stuff and intend to move my hands and fingers and all that, and that's attention. But you intend to do it first, intend to move, and then your attention's on actually moving. But you can intend your energies. So what they do with Qi, in Qi Gong, so if their elbow's aching, they'll sit and meditate, gather their energy, get it circulating, get the chi circulating, and then they'll intend it to their elbow. Intention. Fix my elbow, alleviate my elbow, heal the elbow. And it's qigong healing through chi energy. What's happening, Hawkins Samurai? You've come in just as we're talking about how mad's that, mate. The samurai comes in going all zen. That's consciousness, bro. The collective got the call. You got the call. Nice, Jason. It was interesting development that with the ODL, I must admit, and they're still not 100% comfortable with how I feel about understanding what's actually going on. I felt like, I struggled to even find the MoneyGram connection to confirm that it was only MoneyGram volume gone down and not total volume. It was also interesting to find out that people was holding certain transactions exempt because they'd not bounced into XRPL. They'd stayed in a certain network and they'd just bounced from wallet to wallet within a certain network or something. Speak to developers if you like. This is the thing. We've got our community where we try to learn as much as we can and we're all sharing information with each other and we're all growing in knowledge as it goes on. You've got the community at the top between like Ripple employees and all that stuff, even Brad Garlinghouse and all the IMF, the World Bank, the W3C, from all the corporations who are clearly working on DLT, but they're not telling anyone anything. But then you've got the community in the middle who do engage the public and do engage us and do engage everyone else, like the developers, your Beatsbing, your David Schwartz, even your Jed Caleb and all the rest of them, Ethereum with your Vitalik, whatever he's called. You've got the developer community in the middle. For any fundamental questions, we really, really need to start turning to them and being like, yo, can you explain this ODL shit a little bit better? Like David Schwartz it only came out yesterday. Not really had much time to look into it, but it was extremely interesting, I've got to say. Not that it was negative. Don't believe for 1 minute it's negative. I think the true volume of ODL comes from IOV and asset swaps, not currency to currency remittance. That's just proving the system works. Yeah, you mentioned that the other day as well, didn't you, Boo, that everyone did a collective meditation. It's interesting that. It's raining here, or starting to. Cat's still out, man. It's got to be going to someone to get fed and get shelter when it rains, surely. 2 weeks on Friday since he's been out, the poor lad. Unless he's in someone's gaff and they're not taking him vet or getting him scanned. That's stealing a cat, by the way. You know, if a cat comes to your house, especially in the UK, you start feeding it and all that, and you take it in and you claim it, adopt it as your own cat, you've actually stole the cat if you don't go to the vet to check it for ownership. Like, cats are free animals. You can't just capture one, keep it in your house. They've got the right to roam. They're not trespassing in your property. So taking a cat in your house without actually checking ownership of it first to make sure it is a free cat that wants to live there and it's not just an owned cat that's, oh, you're feeding me, buzzing. You know, it doesn't just mean it wants to live with you. Wanted food and you gave it. Don't steal cats. Especially while mine's missing. Always as much honesty as we can bring. Hawk and Samurai all the time, mate. If we can't be honest, we won't be doing the channel. Like, I'm never going to shy away from anything I don't really know much about. I'll always be 100% honest. I'm not gonna fucking make shit up. There's a world about 3,000 light years away. It's just like ours, a clone of Earth. Interesting, notorious. There's an interesting one in Gleesort. Have you seen the film Battleship? Battleship, where they come into they land in the Pacific Ocean. That is a real star system they're using, that. Gleesort 581G. That's a possible Earth, Gliese 581G. It's about 20 light years away from Earth. Oh, 20.42. Well done, Ed. Well done, Ed. Pat on the back, lad. Pat on the back. But I don't think it's really been confirmed. You've got 581, you've got 581D, you've got 581C. So if you imagine like a couple of them are just like Mercury and Titan and stuff like that, and I think they're not there, but there's some guy thinks that there's a G planet there that's actually in the Goldilocks zone. It's an unconfirmed exoplanet claimed to be in orbit of Gliese 581 system. Now, if you watch the movie Battleship, they send a signal to Gliese 581 system, and then aliens that come from that system. Now, is that rubbing something in our face? Like the reptilian eyes as well, and like they can't handle the sun that well. Do you know what I mean? Is that rubbing something right in our face in sci-fi, like I say? In about 60 years, we had to get there. How long do you reckon to warp drive, Notorious? You think they'll pull it off or what? I think we'll have warp drive. I mean, I'm going to wind down on warp drive. For the people that don't know, right, let's do this. NASA, 100-year Starship. Look at that, you don't even get through it, and it gives it your 100-year Starship. NASA, boom. The 100-year Starship. The 100-year Starship is a joint US Defense Advanced Research Project Agency and National Astronautics and Space Administration grant project to a private entity. What? The goal of the study is to create a business plan that can foster the research and technology needed for interstellar travel within 100 years. Within 100 years. Doesn't mean that they expect it to take 100 years. They want it within 100 years. They want 100 years to be, by the end of that, building the actual ship. And they actually give the circular type ship that's currently being proposed for possible warp drive. Not quite at the Star Trek nacelles yet, do you know what I mean? But the way they're doing this, warp drive concept, it's going to pull the space, so it's going to create, right, basically a big magnetic field of energy that's going to create its own gravity, so it's got gravitational power to move space, actual space. It's going to suck the space in front of it in and then spit it out the back. So the little bit of space we're on, or the ship's on, gets propelled forward fast as fuck. So in the theory of relativity, when we see Einstein's when you see Einstein's picture explaining gravity and that, and the use of fabric, and they drop something heavy in, it creates a cone in the thing, or they use a little grid system and it creates, you see the gravity. That's how the ship will work. So you can see at the front it's pulling it in, so it basically falls forward because it's sucking it in the front and pushing it out the back. So that ship, in theory, once they figure it out, that ship in theory on that space, because it's like that, the space is literally going whoop, sucked in at the front and pushed out at the back. It's going to push the ship forward. And then the more power you can create, no doubt if you're a Star Trek fan and you watch Star Trek, we will go from warp 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 and so on. You can get even more detailed pictures up with better explanation of how that piece of space the ship sat on actually moves forward. It falls forward. It's being pushed forward because of the manipulation of space, of the fabric of space itself. Oh, Steve, no doubt when you come back off DMT, be able to just blast it again. But to compose yourself, it would probably take you another 20 minutes, half an hour if you even wanted to go back in so soon, because it takes you a while to process the experience you've just had. You don't come out knowing, like, boom. Like, the next day you can be like, fucking hell, that's like, remember that now. Shit. It can take like a week at times to process. That's what it is, Notorious. So that tech at the moment, if you imagine how unimaginable that tech is, to just ping you to another star, not like that, but rapid compared to now, it's almost as unthinkable, say, a few hundred years ago, as explaining how a satellite is just constantly falling around the Earth. It's no longer being propelled, a satellite, it's just falling. The ISS isn't being propelled unless they turn the fucking propellers on, because it wants to move a little bit, or it wants to reorientate itself, it wants to turn or spin. To orbit, it's just constantly falling. That would be as unbelievable as any warp technology to us now. We're thinking warp, nah, years away from that. And yeah, we are, but we'll get there. Just like 200 years ago, they'd have been like, oh, what, oh, get into space and all that. Never get to space, humans. Don't tell the Wright brothers about Concorde. Well, John Edwards, go and watch Battleship again. Did the Greys come from fucking Gleaser 581? I think, when some people just say the Greys have got no sexual organs and all that, I think they could just be created vessels, like created avatars, where the Watchers come. They're just the Watchers, like in Marvel Comics. So basically, for those who are not massive geeks and don't know who they are, Stan Lee became one in the movies, in the MCU, but that's a Watcher. They just come, like interdimensional beings, to just come and watch, observe the universe. That could be what the Greys are, but the reptilians are actual extraterrestrials that have took control. Go a little deep here, but well, this is what I keep saying as well. If you subscribe to infinite timelines, there's a possibility where you're every kind of human in a certain timeline. Do you know what I mean? That's a daunting possibility, and it makes you kind of want to be the best version of yourself. Like if you legitimately truly believe it, and you believe that fucking hell, a version of me is going to kill herself, a version of me is going to commit murder, a version of me is going to be a rapist, a version of me is going to be really, really bad person. I want this version of me to get there as like the oldest one, who had the best life, who was the nicest, kindest fucking, yeah, you want to be the best. And if only I'd have felt like that when I was fucking 16, if only I'd have felt like that when I was 12, you truly believe in that fundamentally, that you truly want to be the best version of yourself in the multiverse. I used to believe in, like, a little bit in the multiverse, but only till DMT that I actually believed it. So, I mean, so what, a lot of people say the Ark could have been a DNA storage, because you can't just put every species of the planet on a boat. Don't work. But I think it's breakfast time. Break the fast, baby. Break the fast. But yeah, for anyone who's interested in that, just before I go, again, like not just the Watchers, not just the warp drive, not just Gleaser 581 that you do a bit of research on if you want. You're still on and interested in this shit. Noah's Ark stored DNA. Will that get anything up? Someone wants to make an actual Noah's Ark of DNA, if you want to research that. Scientists want to create a modern day Noah's Ark, which will see them store the DNA of millions of species. Scientists building Noah's Ark. But there is actually people who think the actual Noah's Ark was the same kind. Because how else would you collect every species on the planet, male and female? There is no gender, there is no spoon. It's just sex of the species. Yeah, well, there's one thing I've learned in this industry, Rock and OG. Yeah? No offense. There's one thing I've learned in this industry. You think QNT is going to rise fast. It's going to go down fast. It's all that's going to happen. But it, like, honestly, do yourself a favour. If you bought in already, it doesn't matter. If you've already bought in, it doesn't matter. If you're waiting to buy in when it gets released or whatever, just bear in mind, when most projects like go live from testnet to mainnet, or they do a migration and everything, it actually drops a little bit at first, because loads of people who've been holding a long time actually dump it on people coming around thinking it's going to rise fast, and people actually start thinking that they're getting in at a better price because it dips a little bit before it pops. Do you know what I mean? It's just be careful with that. Careful with that. Glenn Davis for Roswell. Seen Steve Carell move out the Ark. It's best I can do with that one. Have you seen another, like the one with Alan? Watch the one with Russell Crowe. I actually enjoyed it, mate. I really, really liked the Fallen Angels like aspect of it as well, where they became like rock. I'm not gonna spoil it. Sorry. It's just called Noah in it. Is it on Noah? Is it on Netflix? Is it on NoFlix? Is it on Noalix? I can't even spell Noah. I'll put A first, you absolute weapon. Noah. Watch that one. It's not bad. I mean, someone who subscribes to the religious beliefs and is Christian, Catholic, anyone down them lines might think it's bad, might not like it. I enjoyed it. Felt it was interesting. Yeah, it was interesting. There was a scene in it that proper had me. It proper got me, and I've already said Fallen Angels, so when they go home, mate, that scene I was like, yo, I love that kind of scene. I'm all about it, mate. Sky's opening up and shit. Wow. Go watch that. Nice. Got Elder Scrolls on the PS4. Stop it. You've not got it on PS4, bro. Stop it, Alan. Be adding you as a mate and we'll be playing it at weekend, mate. You'll be coming on the stream. You'll be playing on the stream with me. Oh, mate, I'll be sending you some stats and shit. Oh. Stop exciting me. Oh, is the scene as good as the kitchen scene in Upgrade? For the all-out power of the scene, for the power displayed in the scene, and what actually happens, yeah, it's better. It's a better scene in Noah, personally, for me, because it's yeah. I don't want to spoil it. We could talk about it after you've watched it, but it's the way there's a little turning point in the scene. And they're all like, what? And then it's like, yo! It's good, mate. It's good. Because there's obviously people who is not letting on the ark, who want to get on the ark. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not building an ark, mate, letting all these animals on and not letting me and my family on, bro. And Noah's like, yeah, but you sinned. Yeah, you've all sinned. Nah, you're all gonna die. You're all dead. And he's surviving. It's I'm gonna watch it again myself, you know. I've only seen it a couple of times. I can only really remember that one scene, pretty epic. But it is decent. I'm actually gonna go and have a little look for the cat and whack it on when I get back, I think. Do a little refresh. But yeah, mate, if you've got it on PS4, I'll add you on PS4. Scott84 MUFC. We'll get you added and I'll run through Elder Scrolls with you if we're ever on. If I can ever come on when you're on, I'll come on with you, and anything we can do as a pair, I'll run you through it so you level up rapid, doing your story, completing the levels, the dungeons, the delves and shit like that. And I'll give you some staffs. I'll build you some, like, when you're level 10, I'll build you a sit level 10 staff. When you get to level 20, I'll build you a sit level 21. So you've always got a proper 6 staff, unless you find one and you pick one up that's better than it anyway, which you probably will do, because we'll get you some chests and shit and do delves. So you'll get all the sick gear. Yeah, it is one of the movies where certain scenes of it, like, were epic. Altogether, like I say, some people could be like, oh, I thought it was pretty boring, I didn't really like it. And it's like I say, it's the emotion of just certain scenes and the power on display in certain scenes that I actually enjoyed. Interstellar arc, imagine that. Is that what? Imagine that happened here. When you consider, mate, for another couple of minutes now, like, when you just consider that we're, as a species, we're actually at the point where we can contemplate sending a vessel of our DNA, multiple thousands, millions and billions of species in little fucking capsules on a vessel to another planet. And even if it crashes, the DNA's still there. What then comes out of that water? What then evolves with all that? The Prometheus in it, where the engineer goes and he drinks that drink and it just degrades into the river, and then his DNA's in there. It all breaks down, but then it starts reattaching with the algae in the river and stuff like that. And what's going on when we're actually part of a species that can contemplate actually doing that? Like, and then people question whether there's actually, it's a possibility aliens could be here. Do you know what I mean? What's happening, Brady? I am about to shut it off, pal, sadly. 3 hours, 12 minutes here. Need to go and get some breakfast. I actually need the toilet now. But, what's my gamer tag? I'm pretty sure it's Scott84 MUFC. But I'll have to double check if you can't find me. We'll get it sorted at the weekend, because I'll be on it at the weekend again, like just showing people how to fuck about, but gain value while they're fucking about. Oh, mate, I cry during movies all the time, and that me. £7. Have you seen that film with Will Smith, £7? Or like 8 Mile? Or Hatchie, A Dog's Tale? Mate, even Remember the Titans? That gets me in points. Loads of films get me, mate, and it's not necessarily crying like, woohoo. Even sometimes it's just filling up. You fill up and blink, and it just, like, one tear runs down, do you know what I mean? And you're like, you got to wipe your eyes because it's proper hit you. Yeah, I get that all the time, Alan. And it's because you're invested in the emotion. It's fucking great. And anything with Hans Zimmer, he just drags you in. He's like, come in here, bruh. I'm having you crying here, yo. Interstellar. It's like, come on, bro. Get the tissues out, mate, because Hans Zimmer's up in the house. It's sick. Yeah, Eco African Brady, if you want to, like, zip it back, much appreciated. There's no adverts on yet. I think what was happening was I was clicking monetize a video at the start. I think YouTube was whacking, like, 4-minute videos on or something. I don't know. But I've not clicked that now. But when it processes it, I'll probably whack a few adverts on it, just so if we get any future views, We just get a little bit of fucking revenue from it, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, if you want to flip back now, you should be on it before any ads are added or anything. Nice clean stream. Yeah, the Interstellar, even upgrade, it's getting in the emotion, innit? Once the emotion pulls you in, half the time it's a soundtrack, personally, for me. But other times it can be dead silent and it's just solely the acting. You know, when an actor's pulling it off with a crying and that, you can't help but, if you're invested in the emotion and you're invested in the character, if you've got a heart, you will mirror what that character's doing, and if they're crying, you will cry as well, because you feel the pain, you feel the emotion. Nah, Steve, I reckon we can leave the solar system, mate. It's just we're so far away from it without having multiple ships up there. It just needs testing and testing and testing. The radiation belts and all that stuff. People need to get comfortable with being shielded by gold foil and stuff like that, and understanding that it's detrimental at the moment because there's no artificial gravity. Until there's artificial gravity and we can walk in places where there's 1G, then we're losing bone mass and muscle mass the longer we stay out there. So it's not really safe. It's not safe for humans out there yet. We need artificial gravity. We need some form of magnetic, like the floor of the spaceships on Star Trek and stuff like that, where they've just got gravity, they've got artificial gravity pads pulling electrons down or something. I don't know, but we need something like that. Like, we are electromagnetically stuck together by our atoms. So in gravity pulls us down. There is other ways of pulling us down, of levitating us, of getting a grip of us. Might just be boots at first, but boots ain't going to stop the muscle mass or hold you down. But you need some sort of suit that when you do a squat and squat back up, it actually feels like you're lifting your body weight, or you legitimately just need pulling down at 1G. Until then, it's dangerous to space travel. So it's to travel over long periods. Because you're going to, like, what happens to a pregnancy in space? What happens to a 9-month pregnancy in 0 gravity? What happens to a 9-month pregnancy in 0.3G on Mars? Like, what happens in that situation? Who's okay going to test that? What guy's okay letting his missus pregnant go up and test the pregnancy in space? What woman's okay testing pregnancy in space? Is that morally, humanely okay to actually just let someone get pregnant in the space station and see if the pregnancy is normal? Do you do it in an incubator do you do it with mice? Do you send mice up and let mice get pregnant and see if the mice come out deformed? Do you do it with monkeys? What's the humane way of finding out how a pregnancy develops and what happens in space in 0 gravity? Never mind on Mars with less gravity. What happens in 0? Loads of shit we don't know regarding space travel. Yeah, we can't just leave the solar system without colonizing actually colonizing it first, innit? We just can't. I was writing a story about it. I've got a few comic synopses written. So if I get hold of a comic and script writer who can give me an handwriting the dialogue, because as one person, it's hard for one person to write multiple people dialogue and they all remain different people. You have to be a really, really good writer to do that, and I'm not a really, really good writer. I need a brain tank team of people helping with the dialogue and script. It's not that I don't know what my characters would do. I just need help with different lines of dialogue. Like, I've got characters more intelligent than me who would clearly speak more intelligent than I speak. So I either spend a shitload of time at thesauruses and all that, but my story was about colonizing. That story is about colonizing the solar system, like a pre-Star Trek world. What do we do before warp drive, when we can get to Jupiter in just a few days, when we can get to Mars in just a couple of weeks because of helium-free or antimatter engines or whatever? Astral Projection. Watch Lock and Key on Netflix, Alan. It's a series though. So just bear in mind, take you a few hours to watch it. I think it's 10 episodes. But by like episode 7, it's well and truly in it. And the keys are metaphors for like rituals or spells. Do you know what I mean? Or any, like, yeah, the metaphorical. So they'll have a key that they put in their head to change their appearance. Or they'll put in the back of their head to get inside someone's head. Or they'll use it in a door, walk through the door, and they're astral projecting. The body falls on the floor and the astral projection just flies off. Like, imagine they didn't have the keys and they was doing rituals and it happened. It's just metaphoric, like keys. Stephen King's son's written it. It's, you know, mate, the ending of that is epic. The best ending to a series I've seen in as long as I could. I'm actually struggling to remember a better ending to a series that impressed me as much as that ended. Talking about twists, it was epic. Lock and Key. I can't stress this enough, and I don't care how fucking boring you think it is, right? You have to go up until episode 7. At that point, you're going to be like, hang on a minute. And then what? By episode 9 and then the finale, you're like, yo, where's season 2, bruh? Where's season 2? Snowpiercer's a good one as well. But there's not that many episodes out, but it's ongoing, coming out like every week. But Lock and Key, Netflix. Stephen King's son. Oh, mate. The fucking ending of that. Well done, Mr. King. Well done. Yeah, Lock and Key, mate. What's that about Noah? Retracted. Yeah, I'm going for Brecking now, peeps. Enjoyed it, as always. Let me put this jacket on because it's fucking raining out there a little bit. This is why I can't understand. In the first few days of the cat being missing, I could kind of understand why he wasn't showing up at anyone's house and that, because he's on a field behind my house there, where he's got loads of little birds, loads of pigeons, there'll be mice, there'll be rats, there's even foxes, there's loads of squirrels. He's got all sorts on there that he could be eating. He's got no bell on so he can hunt. And it was sunny, so I fully understood why he wasn't showing up anywhere, whereas now it's rained a few times and that. So surely, unless he's struggling for shelter, he might still just be happy on the field. He's found shelter and that, but I expect him to turn up soon. I'm fucking hoping he does. Word of the day, Noah. Yeah, well, Alan, it's Steve. I don't know his name, but it's Stephen King's son. Does Lock and Key. He's actually in it as well at one point near the end. Joe Hill. Is that even called King? Joseph Hillstrom King, better known by the pen name Joe Hill, is an American author and comic book writer. You'll see him towards the end. I think he's in the last episode as a paramedic. Great show, absolutely good. And imagine the books are good, because you can't get a show that good if the books aren't good, mate. No chance. So if you like reading, maybe check the books out, before or after the show, entirely your choice, whichever medium you prefer. If you like, you imagine Harry Potter, would you rather have saw the films and then read the books, or read the books and then watch the films? If you're a book first kind of person, maybe grab his books first. You'll get them online, I imagine. Cats are territorial, so yeah, cats should be close. Maximum override. Yo, maximum override. That sounds like a proper 80s maximum override. Oh. Right, guys, it's been great. I actually do need to go and get some food now, though. Belly's calling me, and so's the toilet. Nature is calling. I'm super interested in what happens regarding the voting. How we actually do force change in a system that pretty much everyone knows is corrupt, but everyone just feels like we're helpless and it'll never change. People's talking about a fair world a hell of a lot these days, and Nigel Farage himself has spoken about two-party politics being dead, and it's time the world realizes it. It's interesting. We're moving into very, very interesting times, unsettling times for some. Just got to stay positive. As long as you're waking up, you've got it better than the people that didn't wake up. It's the be all and end all of it. Bit of gratitude to just be alive is that should be enough for most people. It really, really should. For some reason, we want more. Everyone wants more. Comes back to the Buddhist samsara cycle. Wanting leads to suffering. All suffering is because you wanted something. If you didn't have desires and you didn't want anything, then you wouldn't suffer. You generally just wouldn't suffer. Interesting. Appreciate Brady, Alan, John, everyone else who joined the stream. Even if you didn't comment, I appreciate you. Love you. Invest in yourselves and the internet of value. Live long and hodl all you hold dear. Yeah. Don't let it go until you're absolutely ready to let it go. You know the dance. We love crypto. We love the idea of voting through consensus for a true democracy. And we love you. Until the next one, peace.